to eat that much.
Hey guys, Pat the Pauper here, Cardboard Conversations, as always, joined by the incredible Pure MTG crew. How you doing, fellas?
Was
Doing great. Welcome to the new year.
Yeah, right. Happy 2023. Hope everybody's doing well. You know, it's
I think most of the people are out at the pre-release weekend at
well,
the
so
moment. To be
that's what's
honest.
weird is there is no pre-release.
yeah, they got
Yeah,
rid of pre-release.
yeah, there's no pre-release for this set. You can go down, but you have to get full boxes. That's the only way that I believe you're able to purchase any product currently. So
I
we're
bet there's
seeing
something going on, whether it's
Sure, they
not an
probably
actual full
yeah.
pre-release. Stores have product.
Yeah, I am actually planning on hey MTG Hillbilly, hope you're doing well. Yeah, I actually was talking to the owner of one of my LGSs down here, well, up here, and we're actually looking at doing a draft for next weekend of Dominaria Remastered. So I'm actually looking forward to getting out, doing something out in the community, kind of support the local store, and also maybe get some crazy cards. I mean, have you guys been watching any of these pack openings? It's been pretty friggin' incredible.
No.
I'll be honest. With watching it, I'm just like, all these prices of cards. Many of them I have are just going to flat nosedive. There's just too many of them. The reason that most of these cards, like Urza's Incubator, which I have a couple of OG copies, I have most of the tutors. The only one I don't have is the Enlightened Tutor. I think I have 4 copies of the OG. The Worldly Tutor. I have copies of Arborea. I have copies of. I'm talking like the OGs. I got copies of. I'm not trying to brag or flex here. I have a Legend Sylvan Library. They're just not going to maintain their prices. Birds of Paradise. They're just all going to take a serious dip. Like they're not uncommon to get these hits, and
Well, I mean,
It's
there's no
totally
way the
crazy.
prices are going to
Yeah.
hold.
the whole purpose of a reprint, though, right? To give
Yeah, I think
people
that's
stock.
exactly it. It's funny that I have that like exact mixed feeling for me is I've got a couple of boxes coming in and I definitely want to open at least one. Me and my buddy are gonna either sit here and rip wrappers for like a whole afternoon or actually do a draft over at another friend's house, the leader of our pod as it were. Now, I definitely want to get some value monetarily out of the set when I open it up. I want to get great cards, and that is exactly going to be reflected in the market. All these great pack openings we're seeing, you know, I was watching Lance on Thursday, Cothern Cards or Moonshot now. He was doing some collectors and draft boxes. Incredible cards coming out of there. So we're definitely going to see a huge downshift in single prices after the release of this.
But that's just it. It only feels incredible for now, like right at the very front edge of this wave, right? Because after the wave passes, then you're just standing there in the foamy surf with sand all in your shorts, and that's kind of what I think is going
Yeah.
to end up happening.
Yeah. Well, I don't
That
know
it feels
because
great. Like look at many of the
yeah.
cards. Double Masters 2022. If you just look at the
Hmm.
list of cards, it just far exceeds Dominaria Remastered, right?
Yep.
Now it's about what 250 to 280
Oh yeah. Yeah,
for a
exactly.
box
It's
of
reflected
Double
in the
Masters
the
of Double Masters
street
2022,
price is the same.
and
Yeah.
it's 180 something for a draft box of Dominaria Remastered, and
Yep.
they're just not even in the same universe when it talks about
Mm.
when you're looking at the cards. I'm talking about even the commons and the uncommons that you can get out of a box of let's say you didn't have any Magic cards. I would still say that right now the better value is clearly in a box of Double Masters.
Kind of blows my mind that Double Masters collector's boxes are still $230.
Yeah,
I'm just saying, like
it's
they're
crazy.
suppressed prices there,
Yeah.
and these are both. I'm comparing apples to apples here. Actually, a Masters set that's what within $70 of a box price of, actually $50 for the collector box within the price of the draft box of Dominaria Remastered, and the Dominaria Remastered collector box is well above the price of the collector box. Now I understand there's only 4 packs in the one. Gotcha. Blah
Yeah,
blah blah.
you're getting 3 times the physical cards.
But you're let's compare the draft boxes, right? So we'll say they're within $70 of each other at the moment, and there are 36 packs in the Dominator Master, but there are 2 rares at least in every Double Masters box, right? So you're getting twice the rares that you're getting out of the Dominator Remastered. So, yeah, I understand you can get like a rare and a mythic or 2 rares if you get one in the foil slot. But if you get a rare old bordered, you do not get if you get like a rare old bordered, you just get a normal board. I don't remember how it all goes, but basically you're getting 1 rare per pack. Most of them. Like it's very rare to get 2 rares per pack or rare and a mythic. Yep. So I still see the value. You're getting twice as many out of you can get 3 out of a Double Masters 2022 pack. So just saying I don't see the value there. But with their reprint policies currently, none of this is going to hold. I mean, how many times, honestly, let's count the number of times Vampiric Tutor's been printed in the last 3 years. 2 years ago. Starting with Commander Legends 1.
Commander Legends 1, yeah.
And then it was in the list.
Yeah, and the list isn't like a very notable reprint, though.
It was, though, because it was impactful. It was, because it was in the list of Streets of New Capenna, which the list was just banging
80
in Streets
cards,
of New Capenna.
I think. Yeah.
What's that?
I think it was an 80 card list in Streets of New Capenna.
Yeah, they were pulling them quite frequently.
Super short, yeah.
And then again in Double Masters. I think it was in another list after that as well.
And I think I'm okay with that, though.
Yeah, I'm fine with it.
More people are able to get good cards in their hands.
2 years ago to it. I'll be surprised if it even stays at $20 after.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, a card like Damnation, that was, $40-50 almost. And then after the incredible reprints in both Time Spiral Remastered and also in Double Masters 22, that card's like maybe half the price of what it used to be. Hey,
Liliana's less than that.
Yeah, we're talking about some of that there Vampiric Tutor action and a lot of other reprints recently coming up, recently just gone by as well. Double Masters 22, a huge reprint only set, and DMR, also another huge reprint set. I think we're going to see more and more of these as we continue going forward. This will probably be an annual event. Instead of core sets, we're just going to get big reprints like this.
But it's not even an annual event, right? It's more. Look at how many reprint sets we've had in the last 2 years. And then you're reprinting on top of that in secret layers.
Yeah, especially if you're talking about jump starts as well, because those are more or less reprint sets as well.
Sure. And again, there's just... I think Ed was definitely onto something with the rate of reprints that they have decided, instead of investing into expanding the game with like what we've done, which I think is a perfectly acceptable solution for a great direction. I'm not going to go into it really deep with the Commander raids, but that's what I was talking about. They need to innovate. They need to come up with more creative ways to progress the game rather than just dipping into the past for something that was supposed to be collectible. It is supposed to be collectible. They mention it quite frequently on their website. And it is becoming a very unappealing collectible target. Like, I collect them because I have a love affair with the game. But if you're getting into it because you want to try to have some value for a very expensive hobby, most people get into the hobby and stay in the hobby because they feel like, well, maybe I can maintain some value. Not that you're necessarily even going to make money. I'm not talking about the money Timmy flippers. That's a whole different subject. But I'm talking about people that get into it and they're nervous about throwing $100. Think about when you're buying a board game like a Monopoly. If you walked up to the shelf because you wanted to go play a game with your family and friends on a Friday night, and there's a game you don't know jack shit about, you walk up to the shelf and it's $150 for the box. You're probably going to walk right on by and go grab that $20, $30, $10, $15 game that's right next to it. So there is a difference when you're buying Magic products as a game, that it also has that collectible aspect that is supposed to have some degree of collectability and financial aspect to it. But by all these massive amounts of reprints and constant going back and finding anything of any value, and just printing the crap out of it. Not just a little bit, like it can
Hey, what
stand a
up,
little,
Lance?
but they're printing things at a rate.
And
That,
Twiddler. Hey.
how long can it last before every card is under $5?
Well,
And that's bad for the game, because what will happen is you'll have people saying, nah, too expensive, I don't want to get into it. They keep increasing the box prices, but the value and the collectability of it keeps perpetually dropping into oblivion. And that's going to really come home to roost. And this era will be seen as a big deflating of the balloon, a big letting the air out of the tire era of Magic. They're printing things that haven't been printed in 25 plus years, and they're doing it rapidly in succession, like Vampiric Tutor.
yeah, I mean, reprint sets are coming out faster and faster than ever before. We're getting more of old product back in our hands, really keeping card prices down. I
Let me ask you this.
I don't think I feel bad about it, in all honesty. If anything,
Yeah,
I'm
no.
kind of pleased with it. Hey, what up,
Mm.
Adam? I just want to take a quick second, Bob. I know you got a great thought there. I just want to reach out and say thank you to everybody for stopping by this evening. Lance, Rip and Ship Moonshot, I caught some of your stream on Thursday night. You're doing some friggin' great rips over there. He's got some great card pulls lately. So I'd love to see what you've got to say about Dominaria Remastered. Adam, MTG Hillbilly, and Twiddler. What up, dude?
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. I'm just saying, from a collector standpoint, and certainly an investor standpoint, it's gotten to the point where, as a investor, I'm a complete stop. I'm not doing anything for investor. And as far as a collector, because of the variance in things, I have no real desire to collect anything new.
I don't think any of that matters, honestly. I think it's a very I think a very small portion of that, of what you're saying, I think the way you're feeling, I can't say the way you're feeling, but the way I interpret everything right now is that if the economy was in a great position, we weren't in a recession, we weren't having any issues, there was no pandemic, any of that. If we had none of that and Magic was still in the same spot, I bet you wouldn't feel as bad, because you wouldn't see a downtick of almost across the board, all cards or all collectibles, everything losing value. So you have the overprinting, or not, I shouldn't even say overprinting. You have the reprinting of cards to get their price down, but then you also have them plummeting because of the recession. So I think you have like a double hit, as opposed to if it was just the prints. I don't think it would be as bad. I think it would be maybe 10-15%, because there'd be enough people that are consuming the prints. But like when you have the two things at once, sure, it's a bad time for them to do that. But I honestly don't think you'd feel this bad with the reprints if we were in a good spot in the world.
That's interesting.
Personally.
And, I think that there's a good point to the delineation right there, is that as a collector, reprints are probably one of the best things. I never thought about putting Hunting Grounds in a deck. Thing was near $16. By the end of January, that thing's going to be under $10. Bet you $10. Now, that's a way better option to be able to actually put in a deck. As a collector, that's great. All these tutors, man, I can really bump up some of my decks, get a bit more power in my pod. You know what I mean?
That's not what a collector does.
Well, I can get more cards. I can collect them.
Collectors
I can
don't play
get
the
more
actual
cards.
game.
Okay, but here's the difference. Okay, you're really truly looking at it from a player's aspect. There's no real desire anymore for the collectors getting things as collectible. Very few things. Collectors, when you collect something, right? You don't run out on the street and find old used milk jug caps. That's not appealing to a collector. Most collectors, when they want to buy something, I'm not talking about investor versus collector. I am talking about a collector, Lance. A collector generally collects things that have value. Most collectors. Most people don't have used bubblegum collections sitting on their shelves that they're showing off.
I don't know, Bob, though. There are people that have just like little Debbie
Bottle
collections,
caps.
legitimate bottle cap collections. That's the difference to me.
There are some, but that's not what we're talking about here. They're very different things. Most collectors, when you talk about curated collections, art collections, even action figure collections, the collections that matter, that are going to draw money into the pockets of Wizards, they're driving away the collectors that are seeing it as something rare, and valuable to collect. I'm not talking about investment. Investment's a whole different side where you're buying it to turn around and flip it. People that want a collectible item, something that's a collector to put on their shelf, they want that special thing that there aren't many of, even if it doesn't have a lot of value. But they're printing these things so much that they don't want to put, nobody puts their basic lands up on display that everybody has from AFR. Right? They're not putting those up on their shelves. They're not putting all the commons that everybody has 10,000 copies of. And that's not really true that collectors don't play, but I'm talking about delineating what appeal there is for a collector, what appeal there is for an investor, and what appeal there is for a player. If you're only going to appeal to the players, I hate to tell you, the company will go bankrupt.
Yeah,
they will go
in my
bankrupt.
opinion, most people that are collectors and investors don't care about value.
Okay, that's the players again, and those same people just like
players at all.
I disagree with you as well.
Junk cars. They have like literally acres of cars that are all junk. They're not worth anything, but to them, to their value, they're worth
it's that
a lot.
Collection.
It's just collecting them. I want to have a Beamer of every year of every model, and it just can sit there. And they can just walk down Rusty Acres.
Yeah, because Jay Leno's collection of cars is probably the most, famously large collection of cars. That isn't worth shit, is it?
Well, it's not that it isn't inherently worth money, but I think there is that delineation, that line of I'm doing it so I can have one of everything. It's like when I talk with Alex from Ash and Wings. He's trying to collect. So he's trying to get one of every card from Midnight Hunt and from Crimson Vow. Those sets fucking suck. Now it's going to cost him like $200 to buy one of every card. The investing, the value side of that, no, not as far as monetarily. The value in it is to say, I have a collection of one of every single card of this set. That's a collection. Like, I think both of those, and that line often crosses in Magic the Gathering, because the play pieces individually, the most sought after ones, the most worthwhile ones, usually have a higher price tag. So,
which is why I don't slab that, because I blur the lines with all three of them. But I have completely turned off the tap for investment purposes.
Oh yeah, it's funny.
I'm not alone. If you just go out there searching, many stores are cutting back their purchasing this year. Period.
Yeah, I'm crazy behind you, because the first thing we have on our show notes is there anything in the MTG shoot that interests you? And honestly, the one thing that I'm looking forward to. Two things I'm looking forward to for the entire year of 2023 in Magic the Gathering. One happens within the next week. It's Dominaria Remastered. The other happens at some friggin' point, and it's Lord of the Rings. And I am so tentatively looking forward to it. I say that bated breath, full of anxiousness. All honesty, I really hope they just don't fuck it up and deliver a good product. They did great with Warhammer 40k. They've done decently with the Transformers. Thought it was a bad place to insert those cards, but they treated it well. Same thing with Street Fighter and some of the other secret layers. I think there's a great chance Lord of the Rings is going to be a good set, so I'm looking forward to that. And DMR, well, you guys can see why. These pack openings are friggin' insane.
Looking at my emails for the the Dominaria Remastered Rudy patron sale.
40 minutes. He sold out.
55 minutes to sell out.
He made a video saying it sold out in 40 something minutes.
Well, I'm looking at the email timestamps, and I'm telling you that the email first started at 9 p.m. and he sent the email at 9:55 that it was sold out.
Right, but that may have been delayed getting to you. He has a video out right now that talks about how long it took him to sell out, and he told today it was just posted like maybe
46 minutes. I think it was
40 minutes or 48 minutes or something. Yeah.
He was saying that so it was the largest quantity of patron participation since Double Masters. Only 4 attack messages regarding the high price and ripoffs.
It's funny. I actually watched that video of him saying like he put out something saying, "Oh my God, it sold out and so fast. I'm not left holding bags. Thank God, it's a good set." And he was saying that some people were hate bashing him and he had to block them. So I went on Patreon and I was like, I wonder if he has any spots open. Yeah, he had 4 spots open. And I was like, no shit. Like, that barely ever happens. And I did the math in my head. $15 a month. What savings am I getting buying through Rudy?
I'm not going through that again. I dropped being a patron because
that's exactly it. Like, I sat there and I held the mouse over it and I was like, The value's not there. Like it's
The
just
values are there for the special products that he does. It's
right.
not. It's not
Yeah.
really for the
Like every 4 months
release
you want to
products.
spend
But
a couple $100.
yeah, he does like the he gets like the special edition Flesh and Blood play mats that you can only get through him or whatever. I mean,
Buy them
they're
on
for the
eBay.
specialty products you can get once or
Right.
twice
Yeah.
a year,
Yeah,
basically.
3 years ago there
I actually
was.
probably
Yeah,
I meant to
feel
buy
that.
Dominaria through Patreon, to be honest, but I was in
Yeah.
movie theater, so I couldn't
Yeah.
really do that.
Yeah,
Bad
totally
timing.
not worth it. I dumped being Rudy's patron.
Yeah, I came to realize that,
Not worth it.
by scouring the internet, supporting local gaming stores that are taking some of their business online, you can find a lot of great prices by being a smart, savvy shopper. The internet's full of people who want to make a buck, and, well, you could be one of the people that take advantage of it.
I'm cautious on buying things from random sites nowadays.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
safer to go through Rudy, in my opinion, personally. So
I do get that, though.
for
I,
most
I was
stuff,
a
I'm just
patron of
kind of
his
like,
for a little ways, so
I don't
it
think he
was
has the
nice.
time or the care to like, fish through boxes, like open cases of
Ugh,
double masters, and then like
yeah,
once you hit like the foil etched, then you like put those cases aside or those boxes aside for like
yeah, yeah.
individual sale. That's what I'm worried about. That kind of like fishing, and that's what I feel like. If you see like a really good deal, I'm like, what are the odds that those are like fished through in some fashion?
Yeah,
Or even in general on Amazon, just like getting a box that's just already opened,
yeah.
resealed. So yeah, I don't know.
I don't know.
It's
I
not worth
buy
the
a
hassle for
decent
me.
amount of shit through Amazon, and I've never
Yeah,
had
I
an
have
issue with it.
to.
Like, I had one box that was like a little bit damaged, but that was it. And
Yeah, I had
I was
one
even able to return a box of Brothers War Collector when it came
oh
out.
really?
Yeah, I didn't want it, so I just hit return, and it came to me. I just shipped it back and got my refund in like a week.
Some of my Kaldheim boxes, the wrap on them are sloppy, I guess to say the least.
Oh yeah,
Um,
yeah,
but I don't know like how I don't know like how scared I should be of Kaldheim reseals, you know?
yeah. Right. And it, what's funny is that people are talking about Phyrexia all will be one leaks and all the crazy stuff coming up for March of War and these mini booster packs and stuff they're doing. I honestly just don't care at this point. Like, Magic's not getting much of my money. It'll be independent people if I want to buy some singles. Make Playing Cards just sent me a $5 coupon. So I was
Yeah,
actually
me
putting
too.
stuff together. And it's
Yep.
like, that's way more interesting to me than looking at, like, what's coming. Oh my God. They're going to do a new foil treatment. And it's like, I don't care anymore. Like,
Yeah, the
it,
oil slick does look cool though. I'm
yeah.
curious to see what they look like in person. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
I mean, I'm honestly
Did you
way
buy
more
some
excited for,
complete
like,
bundles?
No, I don't pre-order stuff. I'll wait till it comes down and I'll wait till it comes out and crashes and I'll buy it at a
I,
show.
I pre-ordered the case of complete bundles for the very reason I have a feeling they're going to be sold out. Many of the places that I even typically buy from didn't have them for pre-order.
right.
Many of the stores, as I understand it, I've talked to two of them, you cannot pre-order it from them because they don't know if they're even going to get them.
Yeah, I'm sure Amazon will have them.
Yeah.
Oh, they do, but you're going to pay more. They're not going to have a mass drop of complete bundles.
Complete
That's
bundles,
just not
yeah.
going to happen. They won't. I would highly doubt that something so specialized as those boxes, when you really think about it, and let's think about that. They're not going to say, "Oh, we made a whole bunch of money, got a whole bunch of orders on these complete bundles. It did so well. Let's spin the presses back up." Because think about all the unique components that are in those to make those things. Look at how long it took to get the heads I win, tails you lose, just because of a damn coin.
Ugh.
Now you
Yeah.
have a special pack. The set packs that are in there, no big deal. They crack open set boxes and put them in there. But the box itself, I'm sure they can't just spin up those presses to reprint a whole bunch more of the complete special art bundles. I'm sure they have like a special printing of the complete packs, and they don't just have tens of thousands of those laying around just in case there was a bunch bought. So if it sells greater than expected, I have a feeling that is going to be basically a limited run product. And from what I'm hearing and from what I'm seeing, the complete bundles are going to be somewhat difficult to get your hands on. Not trying to create FOMO, But when I bought them at $62 a piece shipped, I was happy enough with that price. That Amazon at 80, I doubt that even if Amazon does a dump, that they're going to go below
under
60 bucks.
65. Yeah.
So
Yeah, no,
I
I'm
was
behind
happy
you
with that.
there.
I don't like the pre-order. A lot of people gave me shit about it because they're like, you don't pre-order. I'm like, okay. Guess what? If I do my homework and I don't want to go through the whole litany of what it took me to get there to explain it online, I encourage everybody to think about these things and go through the math and do the mental exercises yourself. Look at all the different information that you can find out there about these things. And I could be entirely wrong. I was wrong about Dominaria United. I thought that the collector boxes would hold, but they dropped all the way down to like 154 was the lowest.
That was kind of ridiculous. I was
I didn't think
definitely
they would
surprised
drop.
by that.
But I could be wrong. I
think one of the issues with that specifically is that the real draw to it was the rare Legends cards, the rare insertion of a Legends card, whereas the actual cards from Dominaria United weren't really able to hold up a lot of that box price. There weren't all those huge bangers, the singles from there that were really worth chasing after. Don't get me wrong, some really good cards in the set, as with most Magic products. But the big issue was everybody was trying to chase a card that was so rare, and then they do finally get a Legends card, and it's some dumb fucking goblin worth, a quarter. So, yeah.
Well, honestly, what I think the bigger problem was is that the rest of the set, so you have Shieldred and you got Liliana. I think they thought Liliana would hold up better to reprints.
Yeah.
But she didn't. I think that they were thinking that the land
commander.
Yeah,
I think that they were thinking. I think that they were thinking that the land cycle would be much more desirable, and it's just not. People just don't love the pain lands as much as they would have thought they would, and they thought that the nostalgia of Dominaria would carry the set
right. That the name
much
would
more
be
than
able
it
to hold.
does.
Yeah.
But I hate to tell you, the generation that's alive now wasn't around during the original Dominaria block. They weren't in the game. It doesn't resonate with them.
Yeah, I certainly didn't give a shit about it. When it was, Dominaria United, it's got all the... I didn't know who anybody was supposed to be. I didn't care. It was not special to me. I just want the next episode on the Sliver story.
That starts going into a whole thing of like what I've been railing about, that they don't promote the product well enough with the lore, with having like a live action or an anime or, they just... I don't understand why they don't try.
Or even, make like a 20-minute novella, just an animated thing. They already do like the 2-minute long set release advertisement kind of thing.
Sure.
Most of those were pretty cool. Decent animation, really brought some of the story to life. Why not just turn that into a 20-minute thing, put that out on YouTube, all the platforms or whatever? They could really...
Instead, they've invested in a multi-million-dollar Dungeons and Dragons movie.
Bro, what pisses me off, like, I do pack openings, right? I turned in a whole bunch of my bulk, and I got all sorts of different packs. It's been phenomenal to open up Theros Beyond Death, Fate Reforged, Mystery Boosters, stuff like that. I decided, hey, I'm going to treat myself. I'm going to make some content out of some stuff I've never opened. So... one of the things that's pissing me off, that's a running theme in Magic the Gathering products, is that they put advertisements in the fucking product that you've already bought. It just blows my goddamn mind. Like, it costs them money to ship this shit. Like, of all the things to put in a Magic the Gathering pack, just give me another basic land or something. I've already bought the cards. Like, get the. I'm trying, Bob. I'm trying my best not to cuss anymore, but they're getting me.
I'm trying to find... I saw... I'm looking at their third quarter release. I thought they had a chart that had a pie chart showing...
What I'm okay with is tokens having the advertisement on the back of them. I'm fine with that.
Right,
sure.
Yeah.
Make it useful, is what I'm saying. Yeah. Like, if you're going to give me an advertisement, at least have a token on the back or whatever.
But at any rate, I just think it's... I'd have to show it again, and don't quote me, but this is just a general directionally correct statement that 70% of their revenue came from the retail market, meaning, in all honesty, Magic the Gathering. is where most of their money came from. But they spent 70%
either that
of their
or games
budget,
of Battleship.
but when you look at their expenditures, 70% of it they were reinvesting back into digital.
I
Right?
think
So
that,
what you're
even
saying
though
is
it's,
you're taking from your moneymaker, not making it any better,
Hmm.
and reinvesting it in something that
That
provides a
isn't.
very small part
Yeah.
of your income,
Yeah.
and it's been around long enough that should be generating more income, at least
Yeah,
equivalent to what your expenditures are, and it's
No,
not.
I feel you there. I think that business-wise, they're just trying to shift their model to a more digital market. I don't think it's working. I just think that that's what they're doing. Don't get me wrong. I'm with you, Bob. They really need to just make the card game better because that's what they've been doing for 30 fucking years is making cards, and they're doing it worse than ever, just a lot more of it. So they're just shotgunning cardboard out there and people are buying whatever. And people complained about it. So they literally just said, don't buy all the shit we put out. Like, only engage in the products you want to engage with. So buy less Magic the Gathering if you're having a problem with it. I guess that's my standpoint for it, for me. That's my financial advice to Pat the Pauper. Buy less Magic the Gathering stuff. It seems that that's what they think is the best option.
Overall, I think that they're doing something with the company. I think there's some subtext here I'm not interpreting correctly, something I'm not understanding. And I honestly do believe that if you just leave it in the hands of the players alone and you only appeal to the player, because here's what the players want. They want super cheap cards. That's all they want. Give me all the play pieces as cheap as I could possibly get them.
Yeah.
But then when they open them, they want them to have value still. It's funny.
Yeah,
You have this
yeah.
dichotomy that, oh, I want to open this
Yeah.
pack and it's super exciting. And you just can't keep printing. You can't keep going in the direction that they're going and maintain that same business model because it's not appealing to people that want to collect and invest and, where the real money comes from. Most stores will tell you it's not the players that come in that keep their store alive. It's the one or two whales that walk in the door. The players want to sell you the card at full retail and get a discount for doing so when they buy stuff back from them. They don't buy enough quantity to really keep it afloat. Now you got online sellers that
my
do
experience
things.
was a while ago, so I don't.
What's that?
I don't know. That hasn't been my experience.
Louis was on the round table just 2 days ago. Said that he's scaling back his purchase from WotC 75%.
What does
That's
that have
an
to do with players
LGS. That's
supporting the
not
store?
Bob's opinion on shit. This is what's happening from a store that's willing and able to talk to us about it. You have the Cardinal Gaming that keeps talking about this. I don't know, the guy from Adam. I talked to my LGSs, and they're scaling back, talking about not caring at all. And my local guy, he's not hosting any games except for pre-releases. So this is what's happening with the direction that they're going. They are killing the game in paper.
I mean, again, the recession has done a really big portion of that as well.
I think you're giving it too much credit. I think, yes, the recession does have an impact on the market, but not 75% reduction. It should be somewhat commensurate with the total overall downturn, which is roughly 20 to 25%, not 75%.
I mean, I'm not saying they're doing everything great, but inflation plus recession is going to be a major factor in
There's a reason that Aaron Forsyth had to come out and say, "Hey, everybody, why is Standard dying in the stores?" Yeah, look, this is not me. I'm just telling you what I see.
Yeah.
Now, I agree with that. And the problem with Commander, people don't go in and buy a bunch of packs in an LGS.
Yeah,
and
right. You don't need a lot. Yeah.
You only need one of each card.
And if WotC's being truthful from their fireside chat when they said that 70% of their revenue comes from the LGSs, this is a major problem. This is not me. I'm just regurgitating what I'm hearing. And I'm not trying to spread FUD.
Well,
I'm just saying what I'm hearing. And it's I was one of the first ones to point out,
They
hey,
did
guys,
say retail, though. And I think they might consider Amazon as part of retail. If
sure is.
Then, that has to account for a huge block of their
Amazon,
sales.
I'm sure Walmart and Target and
Yeah,
whatever
I
else.
think realistically, the shift is going to be more and more towards those big distributors. It's the same reason. So instead of shipping out to a distributor and the distributor has to send it out to the LGSs and do its own haggling, WotC itself can make the deals with Amazon or Walmart, Target, whomever, and have them do their own central distribution, which is just a way better price point for WotC and Hasbro. So it just makes
okay.
sense.
I have to
From
pause you there, though.
Yeah.
The problem with that is that Amazon, Walmart, Target, those big box distributors that give you the cards at the best possible prices, they don't draw in new people to the game.
No.
That is only enfranchised people
well,
looking for discounts. They do not keep the game rolling. And with the average, by WotC's own admission, the average lifespan of somebody involved in Magic is 2 to 3 years. If you don't bring in more people, the attrition rate will be atrocious.
Hey, what up, Obsession?
If you listen to Cardinal Gaming saying he's having it at a greater rate since he's opened in the last 6 months, and we've gone through multiple recessions since he's been open. I think he said he's been in business like 12 years or something. That he has a greater rate of people walking through his doors, getting out of Magic, just dumping their entire collection on him. And this is since, like, basically Magic 30 is what he was saying. He says that's not really the reason for it. But look, all of
just
these
where
signs,
the world is, where people are at with the company. I mean, I
all
think
of
it
these
is a
signs
huge
are not
mix.
good.
You know, like most of the world right now is pretty fucked. Like just in general. And the economy right now in America is, for some people, probably I think the three of us are probably doing better than most right now with the economic downturn. I know I'm doing the best financially I ever have in my life. So it's real odd for me that a lot of the town I work in, when I go to my office building, people have asked me for cigarettes and money outside, and I go inside and it's like I have 3 monitors, I have like an ergonomic desk, a chair just for me. It's like there's a huge disparity in Magic the Gathering players, and I think it's getting a bigger and bigger gap between people.
We haven't even seen all the layoffs that are coming, and they are coming.
Oh yeah, dude, it's going to get crazier and crazier. AI is nothing to fuck around with.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm just talking about from the free tendies that were given out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And the inflation rates going up. All of that's got to come home.
Nobody
you got
to
free
work.
money for a little while.
Yeah. Real
but
interesting thing.
You have to pay for it at some point. It's like a credit card.
I think it was like 14 months ago this went through. Since nobody wanted to work, specifically like fast food restaurants, right? They figured out a lot of automation they can do inside the stores. And one of the jobs that they did,
hey, Sherry.
Hey, what up, Sherry? Was that the voice boxes, the speakers that you talk to, those are just like AI now.
Yeah, the rallies near me uses it.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy. And we're going to see more and more things
slower.
like that. Yeah, but it's also...
But it's just free.
Yeah, and it's always there. It never doesn't show up. Yeah, it's not some pimply kid who my Subaru couldn't get out of the driveway today. Yeah, cool, whatever. This computer always turns on.
Yep.
All I'm saying is that, the recession, you're right, has an impact, Matt. Absolutely. And I've been saying that on all these prices when people want to cherry pick the data and say, oh, look, Magic 30 crashed or Double Masters crashed or all this. The economy has a huge impact on all these prices dropping. But that does also not mean that it's going to return, because just prior to this, if you look at the rate of increase in prices of cards for the 25 years prior to 2020, you didn't have that massive spike. The dual lands, I even remember when I got back in just a few years ago, I was like, nah, I don't really want to buy a Savannah at $100 or a Scrubland at $100. But I think that we will see prices return to that level. We haven't seen it yet. All that's going to drain off, right? That doesn't mean that, I got all this great deal and things are doing great, so those prices are going to maintain. You had this really gradual increase, and then 2020, bang, straight up. And we're still suffering from that hangover, the rebound effect of that. I agree that things will continue to move up a little bit, but I think that we haven't even normalized yet from that mania that happened over the last few years. And that's going to combine with the economy. And you're going to have the economy going down, which means that realistically, those card values should drop, even if you follow that scale at a logical level where things should be. When the economy tanks, yeah, guess what? All those things are going to tank. So there's going to be a lot more of this, right? I think there's going to be a lot more of what I would call a normalization, and we're looking at way too short of a time span right now. I think that you're going to see a lot of that normalization drop to even less desirable numbers. I'm not trying to be all doom and gloom, but let's be realistic. Anytime you have a massive spike, it's called a bubble. If you look at a graph, a bubble doesn't look like a round circle. It looks like a massive spike followed by a massive cliff.
Yeah.
Which is, we haven't seen the cliff really come into play yet, but we will. And it's coming, and then we're going to compound that not only with the recession, with the general, I feel bad because everybody knows the economy's bad, but like you said, your job's safe, my job's safe, Matt's job's safe. We're doing better than we ever have. There will be a much bigger divide between the haves and have-nots.
Yeah.
And how does this apply to Magic? They made their numbers based off of the spike.
I think that a great expression of this is the conversation the three of us have had about the MTG 30 Special Collector's Edition. When we talked about it, the number one thing was the product itself, the worth of it to have as a collector, the worth of it to open it. The worry wasn't in, do I have enough to get it? Like, am I scared that, like, I can't eat and feed my family, that I can't make my car payments? Is this $1,000 is this just so fucking crazy that I could never conceive of spending that? That was a big difference. And I think that we're going to see, like, with this product here, people couldn't pay the $300 is it for a collector's box of Dominaria Remastered? Some people just, that's too much. And we're going to see more and more of that.
270 at the moment, or 281. I'm sorry, for collectors or for draft, it's 183.
And even though with the prices going up, cool. Yeah, I totally understood that. They announced it almost 2 years ago that box prices were going to go up. So instead of $90, $100, the average box is going up to $115, $120. We had plenty of discussions about that.
Yeah.
Their prices just had to go up, and people bitched and bitched and moaned and moaned. I wasn't pleased with it. I prefer for it to be cheaper. My issue with Magic the Gathering, my voice broke. My issue with Magic the Gathering is that it's not good stuff right now. I'm just not interested in it. Like this whole, the Phyrexians are completing Planeswalkers. I always fucking hated Planeswalkers. It makes the game slow. Like, cool. Like,
well, here's the bigger existential problem you have with Magic is, what are people doing with it?
Yeah.
What are you doing with the cards? What are you trying to do? Because if you're looking at Commander, you really don't have a set that comes out that you say, oh, I need to add 25 of these cards.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
it's like one or two here, which you'd be far better off just buying off the secondary market.
Oh, shit. Yeah. Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah.
Commander players don't need to replace cards nearly as frequently as standard players do.
Most that's the thing.
Like, I look at them, I go, nope, don't want any of those in any of my.
A big new set comes out, Dominaria United, both Crimson Vow, Midnight Hunt. There's no reason to buy boxes of those when you can just get the 2 or 3 cards from the entire set that you want to put into 2 or 3 decks. That's all you need to do. So why buy a whole bunch of it?
Right. So that's what I was saying.
Yeah.
If most of the players are Commander, right, which I believe most players are at this point.
Yeah, I think even Wizards has said that.
And if that's true, then most of them don't need the vast bulk of cards. So that's why I think we're seeing this massive amount of reprints, but they're going to run out. That well is going to go empty super quick.
Yeah.
Right? I think you'd be hard-pressed now to find a group of 300 target cards over $20 that they could reprint at this point. I'll be honest with you. I just don't think you could. And that being the case, especially how many of those are going to appeal to Commander? How many do you need more than one of in a deck? Like, if you got one Enlightened Tutor, would you go out? Like, let me ask you this. If you were to go to Lance Rip and Ship, right, and you are just going one pack at a time because you really want an Enlightened Tutor because you don't have it, like me, or Force of Will, And let's say you hit that Force of Will on pack 1. How many more packs are you buying? Because that's what you really wanted out of that set.
Yeah.
Right? You're not. You just, all right, I'll stop.
See,
and that's the problem. Is that nowadays,
like,
you don't need 4 of, right? You don't need to have 4 of any of these cards, even if you don't do the proxy printing. So the Commander market's a very different market, and their adjustment to it, I think, is behind. I think they need to look at better ways to innovate with Magic, embracing things. And I don't want to keep tooting our horn, but something they could do with like the Commander raids, right? I'm just going to talk about like what Jason had mentioned to me. and that is that the format can be modified to something that appeals. How many different times have we heard people having crazy different ideas about where we can go with Commander raids? He was talking about adding modules and really having a true amalgam between Dungeons and Dragons and Magic the Gathering, to where you have weekly modules, monthly modules that somebody creates, and you have to accomplish specific tasks with the games of Magic that you're playing, right? And then you're just waiting for the next installment. And if WotC could do, please take our format and do something like that. Make the game more exciting, something different, something that is expanding and growing. And then you could sell different cards for it. You could have different modules for it. You could have all these different things that they could do, rather than just going back to the well and reprinting cards that had value at some point, but you're just printing them into the dirt. Not only do they lose their value, but people just don't give a shit about having them, right? And they're doing this with all of their cards, which makes the appeal of a collectible far less appealing. And they can innovate in different ways other than reprinting things that came from the past.
Yeah.
You know, move forward with something new in the future. Develop new formats that we haven't even thought about. New ways to play with Magic. New things to do with it that can appeal to it. You know, find different ways of playing Magic. I know that people are going to say, oh, they tried with Plane Chase, and they tried with that stupid board game, and they tried with the whatever that PvE format was that they did before, defeat the whatever.
Hydra.
Yeah. I mean, but just because you swing once and kind of miss doesn't mean you stop.
Yeah, right? Dude, fucking Dragon's Maze. You know, Khans of Tarkir. Do you think that they're not putting out sets, fucking up, and still putting out more? This is what you got to do. This is what they're specifically doing, is they're putting out shitty products and just continuing to keep going along. Like, that's just, you've got to just keep the train going. And sometimes you have to build those sidetracks. And as we put in the Google Doc here, Matt put up a wonderful primer to it to give you an intro and some of the base rules. You know, a different way to play Magic, a different way to interact with the product, gives them a different way to market the product as well. I think that was one of the worst things to happen with Commander for WotC, was that it gave them different ways to market Commander decks to people. A lot of that, every single time a set comes out, you're getting 3 to 5 different Commander decks, usually low powered, taking up shelf room in an LGS, barely ever worth a buy. I think that, yeah, it's possible. They didn't even make Commander. That was Gavin and Sheldon. Like, I don't know if they could. I'd like to see it happen, but that's one of the things, is we might have to do it ourselves. We are doing it ourselves, right? Not even ourselves. We're inviting everybody else to do it with us. We want the community to help take part in this and kind of build up something new.
So there's lots of great comments in the chat here, if you don't mind me. I'm sorry for interrupting.
No, you're good.
Coach has 2 great comments back to back, and so does Feldy. So opening the packs with the hours of possible enjoyment, blah, 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 blah. And I'm not trying to dismiss that. I do think that's wonderful, but that is a very luxury type of event, and it's super expensive to do, to just enjoy the art. You can enjoy the same art by looking online at the spoilers. You can look at expanded versions, clean versions of the cards that, yeah, you don't have the card in your hand, but you can enjoy the art by looking at it on a card, looking at it on a computer screen. They're roughly about the same thing. And it's great that you mentioned, if you want to bring up his next comment, likening that to going to a movie. Because I'll tell you this about the movies.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, movie theater lately?
Yeah. Speaking of which, I was Avatar 2. Yeah.
Do you know how many movies they even have available to watch now at like a giant mall that has like 18 or 20. No, it has 22 theaters.
Holy
22.
shit!
Do
That's
you know
a
how many movies
legit
they're showing?
mall.
Do
But
you know how many
probably
movies they're
8,
showing?
8
Two.
max.
Two movies. Two
Fucking
movies.
Avatar and
Well,
what?
it's great that you bring up
Yes.
the movie reference because I do agree. It's an entertainment thing to just look at and open packs. But you're mentioning the dinosaur that is clearly the dodo in the room, and that's a movie theater. You know, they didn't adapt with the times. They didn't come up with a new Commander Raids. They didn't come up with a new movie experience. They just kept charging more and more and more, and you're getting less value for the money that you're spending. When I was little, I'll say this: when I was young,
Hold
man,
on,
in
just
my
you
teens,
should preface it with back in my day.
back before they had electricity and no, but like when I was young, and you would consider taking a date out. The movies were considered a cheap way to go. You would take your date when you were like 14 and didn't have but a few bucks from doing your chores.
Oh, dude,
You'd go to
Bob,
the
you're
movie.
you're preaching to the choir right there. That was my first real girlfriend. That was our thing. You know, we'd go out to the movies at least once a week. We'd get some, decent takeout here or there. Be $30 for the whole night for the pair of us, and then we'd go and do some boyfriend girlfriend stuff. It's great. But nowadays, geez Louise, costs more than twice that.
Okay. When I would take a date back in like 1985, we'll say, it was like $10 to go to the movies with my girlfriend, get soda and popcorn for the two of us. $10 total. It was like $2.50 for a ticket and like $2.50 for a soda and a popcorn, right? And you're talking about $10 total when the average I think minimum wage back then was $3.15 an hour. Right. So that was roughly 3 times. It took me 3 hours to pay for a date. Now you go to a movie and you get a soda, a popcorn, and a movie ticket for just 2 people. You're going to be $80 walking out of that Joker. And I don't even think that's an exaggeration at all.
Yeah, damn near.
And that is far more. What's the minimum wage right now? Is it like 9 or 10? I don't even know what it is. But it's
just got increased
like
in Ohio.
Okay, great. Well, let's just say that for argument's purposes, we'll say it's $10 an hour for minimum wage.
$10 an hour right now, apparently.
What's that?
$10 an hour.
Okay, so $10 an hour, right, is the minimum
God.
wage. So an average movie now, instead of 3 times what your average hourly at minimum wage, it's 8 times as much, right? So they are screwing themselves in the movie industry, and I feel that much the same thing with WotC, especially for just the enjoyment, the entertainment experience, and looking at the art, that they're outpricing themselves, first of all. What they're doing with the product, I think it does really hurt the investors and collectors as well. When you reprint the same card 40,000 times, it just doesn't feel special to have one in your collection. So I think that they're really giving the middle finger to both investors and collectors, and I think the variants really screw over the collectors. People just don't collect sets anymore. That used to be a big thing. I'm not like a hardcore collector, but I have zero desire, and I have collections of full sets, by the way, folks, and not just because I'm old and get off my lawn. I don't even know how to organize cards anymore of the new sets with the 8 different variants of thing. Where the hell do I put that in my binder? It's getting to the point where I don't even want to have them because it causes me stress and headaches just to try to put that shit away. But Felly also has a great point there as well, that the reserve list, and I've said this many times, the reserve list screws them up. It causes so many problems for a game, especially if you want to try to evolve it and get new people in. It is very exclusive. It excludes people. So at in some bizarre portion of a very few people, they want to preserve reserve lists for just a very small number of collectors, and they want to screw over all the new players. I say, shit, at this point, I say get rid of the reserve list. If you're going to fuck over all the collectors and investors, just rip the Band-Aid off. Go ahead.
Yeah. I think they were slowly rubbing the wound, in all honesty, with how close they got. Yeah.
That's a whole topic for another night.
Yeah. Oh, geez.
Comment, Felly.
Yeah. So I don't know. I was watching this guy, good YouTube creator called the Act Man. He just interesting channel name. So he had like a 30-minute video I ended up watching about Yu-Gi-Oh. I guess that was a big thing for this guy. and it was all about the evolution of the different cards and how the game slowly crept forward and the evolution of that game. And what they did with Power Creep was just make cards stronger and stronger and stronger. So you constantly had to buy the new decks, the new cards as they came out. That's how they constantly enticed people forward. And that is getting to the point where it's just about breaking their formats so that you can't do anything. Some apparently in Yu-Gi-Oh, you can actually just draw your hand and win the game. Like that's a pretty consistent thing. It's like what the fuck? Like you just can't play that game anymore. So
well, you know how Magic handles it.
Well, so that I've seen that shit in Magic though. That's what's wild is when I watch CEDH. They're like, "Do you have any pre-game maneuvers or some shit like that?" It's
like Gemstone Caverns.
yeah, it's like what the fuck do you mean? Like I just drew my hand. How am I playing? We're gonna get crazier here. This shit's gonna get wild. I'm looking forward to it in a passenger seat kind of way.
You mean like a train wreck from the sidelines watching it?
Yeah, it's like I have very little skin in the game. I mean, don't get me wrong. I probably got a couple $1,000s in sealed boxes and, you know, high price singles and stuff like that. Cool. Don't get me wrong. I don't want that to go to zero. If it fucking does, my thought on this whole thing was that it's like gambling. It's a card game. There shouldn't be a whole lot of intrinsic value, but there is. So cool. I figured out my little spots where I felt safer about it. Instead of keeping certain cards, keep sealed boxes, you know, do your shake and move. But what do I care? Like, I want there to be good cards that I can use to play the game and enjoy it with my friends. At this point, they're not innovating, they're not changing a whole lot. So we're trying to do that. And I want to see more and more people do that. I mean, that's how Commander came around, is some lovers of the game made a new format.
During a very bad time in the game, I might add, too. That was during the lull. That was not a great time in Magic. Not a high period. And, well, I mean, not the very, very origins of, like, Elder Dragon Highlander. But
now,
Commander
Matt,
itself.
I've got a question for you specifically. As someone who's into a lot of different, you know, entertainment formats, whether it be Dungeons and Dragons, PC gaming, maybe stuff on the Xbox. What is it you're looking forward to for 2023, whether it be Magic or a different TCG, a computer game in general? What is it that's got you hyped for this year going forward? Tell me something positive, why don't you?
I already talked about the Ashes Phoenix Reborn, the PvE format last week, so I don't want to harp on that too much, but I'm looking forward to that. It's called the Red Dawn, Red something.
Hey, Savannah.
But yeah, that one looks promising. It's a PvE format where you play against a creature or a subset of things. I'm going to be starting a new campaign in Dungeons and Dragons. I'm going to be DMing again, which will be nice because I haven't DM'd in like
Oh, that sounds
a
wicked.
year. But yeah, I'm going to be starting Curse of Strahd for my players probably within the next month or so. And I've already ran Curse of Strahd once back when it first came out, and apparently, I didn't know this. Apparently, it's touted as one of the best modules in the game at the moment.
Yeah, for sure.
I ran it when it first came out, so I didn't know that, I guess. And the group that I ran it with wasn't the best group to run it with. Like we completed it. It was fine. It was just one of those things where I wasn't the greatest at DMs, and then the players I had weren't the greatest as far as like story, and also power levels got a little strange. But yeah, looking forward to starting that and kind of like reining that in and actually focusing more on the actual story of Barovia and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be fun.
Well, can I stop you there for a quick sec? Do you plan on
Sure.
incorporating one D&D to your campaign?
I'm a proponent. I love the idea of like taking things away from different editions and kind of just like making my own version of D&D. Now, not that big of an extreme or anything, but like I love fifth edition. In my opinion, is the best edition. But there are things from other editions that I like to incorporate. Like for instance, Bloodied.
Hey,
Bloodied
MTG
is
box
something that
analysis.
I enjoy as a mechanic. Whenever you go below half health, something happens. There's just you either gain a benefit or something immediately happens. Something happens. It just kind of shows that you're getting below half. You're kind of biting down and like, oh, this is serious. So Bloodied Mechanic was in 4th edition, and they didn't bring it back in 5th. I don't know if 1D&D is. I don't think so far. But so far, 1D&D, I haven't really noticed anything that I care too much about except for the feats. I like the idea of everybody getting a feat at first level, and I like the idea of the feats being not as strong at first level, because like right now you can do some power gaming at first level. You can do variant human, and you can pick a super powerful feat that is like really powerful at level 1, and then it slowly teeters off and gets less powerful, but like you can be super strong at level 1, and I don't like that necessarily. It kind of throws off the balance. So it seems like maybe they're trying to balance things out a little bit.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your mojo, but I was curious about that, and I had heard somebody describe 1D&D as 6th edition. So I was like, just sorry.
It is supposed to be from what I understand, it's supposed to be the next edition that will no longer be any editions. So like their idea is that, I don't know why they didn't just do this with 5th edition. It's the most widely used edition ever. Why wouldn't they just use the one edition they already have and just like continue to build on that? But instead they're trying to like rebrand and like have one. They're calling it 1D&D because they want it to only that like this is the last edition,
right?
And then they're just going to build on that. But you know, 5th edition has a ton of stuff, and I don't really see many things wrong with it. And then 1D&D, I don't know. It seems like they're trying to do what they did with 3rd edition, which they're trying to make it very digital friendly, because they're trying to sell a lot of their like their D&D Beyond, and they're probably going to be doing their own version of like Roll20, I think, from what I understand, trying to make it more
monetized,
more modern. Yeah,
that's one of my big worries for.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah. You've got to pay an extra 99 cents for the premium skins on your lizard man.
It kind of blows my mind that people actually, I mean, I guess it shouldn't blow my mind, but I have a player, she's great, but she has D&D Beyond, and she's bought all the books from D&D Beyond. There was like some kind of special deal, so she bought all the books. So now we have access to all the books through D&D Beyond. I personally like using PDFs still, but you know, she's got access to them. But what she does is every now and then she doesn't feel like rolling a die, so she'll use the virtual roller on D&D Beyond. And apparently, you can buy special dice on D&D Beyond. So, like, she has a die that, as it rolls the D20, it animates into a mimic die, and then it like opens up and it shows you the number. And if it's like a D20, it like eats the D20, or if it's like a natural one, it eats you or something. I don't know. It does fancy things. So I don't know if that's their plan. They just want to like sell.
I don't know if that's good or
bad.
And,
and character edge screens and make
your
dude,
that's
border
look for thick. Sure, 100%. And like, I'd have to take part in that. Like, I play, you know, certain video games, and some of that stuff, don't get me wrong, I'm not paying $9.99 for fucking horse armor. I ain't no simp like that. But at the same time, I'll pay 99 cents for like some cool looking gear for my main.
Yeah, I've spent literal thousands of dollars in Path of Exile on cosmetic armor that does nothing but cosmetic effects.
Yeah, dude.
Over the course of like the 10+ years that I've played the game, I've spent like there was like a year where I spent like over 1,000. So most of the money was spent during that year, but it's definitely over 1,000, probably over 2, but not much over 2. But yeah, I mean, I'm okay with supporting a game that I enjoy playing. I have thousands of hours in Path of Exile, and I still continue to play to this day. I played all night yesterday. I will play all night today, probably. It's just one of those things where if I believe in the product, I'll give them money. I don't need a reason.
Right, yeah.
So I'm hoping that D&D, 1D&D, if it turns out to be fantastic, then yeah. But am I looking forward to it? My player group has already asked if we were looking to incorporate anything, and so far it was a 50-50 split of whether we want to use it or not. I actually like using things like Cobalt Press. Cobalt Press is a third-party developer that they develop things for 5th edition. Yeah, they have something called the Tome of Beasts, which if you're interested in, as a DM, if you're interested in with monsters that actually matter, that actually have like some girth behind them, Tome of Beasts, they've got some juicy monsters. They're a little bit more. They just have more more. More in general.
More depth.
Just like more
They
things
just
to
got
do,
more.
better options to pick. It's not
More
just like
girth.
it's not just like a monster that just I attack. It's like it's got like special abilities. They typically have like multiple things you can choose from. They've got good flavor, good pictures, but they have the multiple different of Tome of Beasts. They've got something called it's a small little free PDF called Beyond the Damage Dice, and it's basically to make martial classes feel a little better and as far as like what they can do. Like 5th edition does give you a lot of options if you pick certain classes, but if you pick the basic fighter or the basic barbarian, most of your turns is going to be roll the damage dice. Did you hit? Probably, because you're rolling with advantage because you're going to be reckless attacking, and then you did the damage and that's it. But Beyond the Damage Dice assigns like maneuvers that you can use depending on what weapon you're using. So if you're using like a battle hammer, you can like do bludgeoning damage, and then you can choose to like do this maneuver where it, like maybe it can push them back 5 feet, or maybe it does stuns. I don't remember all the effects, but it adds like little effects that just a little bit more to kind of like influence the battle, as far as if it's just a swing, I do damage. That's it.
Right.
So yeah, stuff like that.
I
like stealing stuff from all
For
kinds
me,
of
one of the
different
things I'm looking
games.
forward to, not very long from now actually, is Atomic Heart. You know, it's been something coming along in the pipelines for quite a while. I've been looking forward to this for ages. It's gotten
never heard
pushed
of
back
it.
for quite a while. Oh, really? Matt, did you ever play BioShock?
I played the first BioShock. I think it was the first BioShock for about, I think it was about an hour and a half, and then I never played any of them ever again.
Oh, guess he
I
did
don't
not
know
enjoy
what it was
those.
about it.
Yeah.
That and Dragon Age Origins were 2 games that I played, and I'm like, people all say this game's great, and then I played it, and I'm just like, there's nothing in me that wants me to. I don't know. I just
Oh
don't want
man,
to. I don't want to
I
play
was a
anymore.
huge fan of the BioShock series. Atomic Heart is based in some alternate universe in like a USSR, and it's all about first person kind of shooter where you have some techno science abilities. Kind of, yeah, looks pretty cool. That's the thing, is it's one of the first real big next gen consoles. Games that are on consoles as well. So something that's really going to push that fancy new Xbox to its limit. You know, some real HDR, 4K, dynamic lighting kind of stuff. I want to see all sorts of, you know, strobing lights and flashes of brilliant colors. You know, something that's really going to make me geek out.
Yeah.
And Bob, I think I know something that's going to pique your interest for 2023.
Lorcana.
Oh, dude, Matt, you took the words right out of my mouth.
I'm definitely interested in Lorcana. But I mean, I've already stated that several times. I've also stated that realistically, as far as Magic goes, the thing I'm looking forward to the most is going to be Lord of the Rings. But I'm hesitant. You know, I'm pumping the brakes on all things Magic, other than Commander Raids. So I've been in a very funky place over the last, I don't know, how long has it been? Month and a half since they did the fireside chat.
Yeah, give or take.
And probably there's a lot of people out there in the same position that I am, trying to wrap my head around what is it that I'm looking for out of Magic over the coming year. You know, and when I say I'm not the only one that's like very Debbie Downer about the financial aspects of it, and I think it's going to be very rough from that perspective. I think as a collector, for me personally, for new things, not quite so much, but I am starting to look backwards and starting to snap up cards that I missed that I want in my collection and as a player. So I am definitely spending far more of my time, instead of looking forward to the projections of the financial aspect of the game, looking to see, while people are getting out, what I can grab that I really want, and in quantities that I want to have, while thinning out my collection and waiting for a better time. I'm not leaving Magic. I've been around since 1994 in Magic, and I will probably always be involved in Magic to some degree or other. There are definitely periods of lulls when it just doesn't feel awesome for me. Really hated the introduction of Planeswalkers. really hated the introduction of probably the thing that hit me the hardest in Magic playing was when the internet came along and really came into prominence and people were net decking. That really kind of ruined Magic for me. Before then, it was a lot more homebrew. So it was really cool to go to your LGS. You'd want to go to your LGS to see what crazy decks people would come up with and all the different interactions that perhaps you didn't see. And that was great to play in standard drafts. So you get new cards and new ideas. Nowadays, by the time I've thought of something, people have already perfected it with cards that are coming out because of the internet. So that was an adaptation. So there are periods that I go through with Magic that are lulls. But one thing this year that is different from all the other times is that, trying to see the game through a different lens, like with Commander Raids. So I'm very much looking forward to trying to get that off the ground, to try to get more people involved in it. I really believe in the format that if more people tried it, they'd love it. And
yeah, and that's I think why we're really going to
2023
try
for
and
me.
push in 2023 to have a lot more games here on YouTube for everybody to see. We're actually broadcasting also to Facebook right now. I've been doing that for like the past 6 months or whatever.
Cool.
Wow.
Yeah, that's StreamYard's great. My computer sucks ass. That's a whole separate dealio. We're working on that, Matt, we're coming up on it just a couple of weeks, and I'm going to make that purchase. Oh, boy, I'm excited.
I have a list for you.
Yes, God, I love this guy. He's not just handsome, but he's good, too.
It comes out to $814 for a pretty baller PC, to be honest.
Oh, dude, that's fucking great. I have literally like 800 in cash sitting around here already.
So
I'll send
I
you
would
the
encourage people to not lose heart
love
and just go run
slapping
out and
myself
sell their
with it.
collections. I think there's going to be a lot of that I was mentioning earlier that I'm hearing disturbing, disturbing news from across, different sources about people being disheartened with Magic. And look, the CEOs and whatnot that are there, in my opinion, it's a turnstile. They're just going to mark their time there until they can move on to their next place to hit their next golden parachute. Hopefully, if they do some really serious damage to Magic, hopefully people that come in next can try to repair that, and then it'll be a golden era, right? If they drive it into the ground, that's the silver lining here, is if they really kick Magic into the dirt, that gives a lot of room for the next person to come in and be the savior and really come up with something. Necessity is the mother of invention, and
oh yeah, absolutely.
perhaps
I think
that'll
you make
cause
a great
them
point.
to look at new formats.
I think you make a phenomenal point, honestly, Bob, is that this being a bad time for Magic is probably going to be a great thing for Magic in the long run. When they did Chronicles and how bad they fucked Magic up for a while, they didn't do that shit again. Now we're in the pipeline for a solid 6 to 18 months is my expectation. It's going to be
I expect
about
longer. Sorry, I think it's going to be 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, no. Hey,
that's my
I'm not arguing with you. I'm just,
being hopeful.
I'd like to be, at least a year, bare minimum. Where I'm in for minimum a year, where it's going to be a pretty tough time to be a Magic the Gathering player. It already has been for a while, but we've had a spattering of good products, and we might continue to get that. If we're fucking lucky, we will. But I don't have really that high hopes for it. So, like you just
I
heard
have a
with
projection
Matt,
for you.
For me, 2023 is going to be a great year. I want Magic the Gathering to be part of it, but it's not going to be one of the reasons why I'm super happy for 2023.
So I'll say this for timeline projections. Like we accept this like 18 months to 2 year projection for oh, hey, this is how, and it seems to bear out about like what they're doing. Mm-hmm. It seems to be really about the timeline for how long it takes to turn the ship, so to speak. But I don't think they're even going to begin turning the ship until we hear them admit that there are troubles. And we're not really hearing that from them yet. So I think it'll be, once we hear them admit it, you can expect 18 months minimum, 2 years maximum for things to start changing. Like, I hate to say that, but that's why I say we're probably at least a year out until they see numbers, if numbers change. And I could be wrong, folks. This could be the most glorious year, and people spend more money, and there's more money coming in, even though the investors are driven away. The LGSs are buying 75% less, and collectors and investors are not really going to be part of their plan. that they're going to somehow bring in more money than ever during every set. Anyways, I don't see that. That's why I say I think if the economy starts turning, if they start admitting that there's a problem and they're going to start addressing it, once they do that, you can expect 18 to 24 months for it to really start correcting.
Yeah.
God. So that's where that comes from. Is it? Yeah. It's like they said, it's a big shift and it takes 18 to 24 months to turn it. Well, they're not even admitting that there's an issue. They just saying, this is the biggest, best ever. Oh, boy. That seems a little delusional. So, we'll see.
I don't know if I told you.
Be negative, but I don't think it's going to die.
I did something kind of dumb the other day. Well, no.
Do dumb every day. So
it's only sort of dumb. I bought the Homelands and a Fallen Empires pack.
I don't think that's dumb.
Yeah. I had some trade-in credit from some bulk shit I had. So when I got all those packs, I was like, you know what? I'm going to get a little bit of a collector's item.
You can do something dumb with those, but you haven't done anything dumb by buying.
No. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm opening up, other packs.
I'm sure he's going to open them.
No, I'm actually going to keep those because there's literally not a single card in there that's worth as much as what I paid for the pack. Yeah, they were $14.99 each, which is probably too much. But to me, I mean, shit, those packs are like 30 years old. Like, that's just kind of cool. So I wanted to have it for exactly that reason. So for my buddy's birthday, I bought him an oversized Shivan Dragon, like one of those big postcard size fucking cards. Absolutely useless. Number one, Shivan Dragon's like not that good of a card. It's cool and everything. It's the original fire breather. Love it. Iconic. That's why he enjoyed it. But it's not like you could use it as your commander. That would be cool. Can't do that. So it's just a collector's item.
Steel.
Yeah, no, but this thing's like fucking 6 inches tall. Yeah.
That'd be cool to play with giant size playing cards. They had the mini ones. I want to play with a giant. So you're holding in your hand like this, two-handed hand. All right, Lance. Thanks for stopping in.
Yeah. Good to have you here. Thanks,
awesome.
dude.
Like, again, they could do so much with the game. I think digital is a terrible way to go. You're going to get in the noise of all of it, and quite frankly, you're just not going to steal away the audience from Hearthstone. Like I think
it's a marketable way to go. Like I think they're going to do it wrong and lose money on it, but it makes sense enough. Like the mobile genre is getting bigger and bigger, just in general. We don't see any numbers, but I bet Magic Arena on mobile does better than Magic Arena on PC or whatever format.
I doubt it. If you played on it, it's so small, it's hard to see, hard to read. You can't see the cards. You have to know what they are. It's just it's not meant for that format.
I don't enjoy Marvel Snap, and that's a game that a lot of people are talking about. They love. I opened it up and I started playing, and I'm like, it kind of just feels like tic-tac-toe. Like it doesn't. I don't know. Like the general idea of tic-tac-toe is where you're like placing things in a strategic order to like try to trick your opponent or whatever. So like Marvel Snap is like you have like different zones, and like you can place monsters in the zones, and their power basically just adds up. And it's just like if you have a 7 power and a 4 power, you have 11 total power in that zone, and then your opponent has to beat you or they lose that zone. But then like each zone has like a special thing that it can do that like amplifies or changes the way your cards work while in it, and your cards can do shit too. But I don't know, it just felt very much like because like you both like pick a card and then you put it down in the zone and then they both flip, so you don't like get to see what they are.
Basically, it's Final Fantasy VII. It's Final Fantasy VII's card game, or 8. Was it 8? You had like a 9-square grid, and you'd place cards and they'd flip at the same time, and you got to make sure, and it has like power on each different like side of it, and it's got to like whatever.
In order to win, you have to beat 2 of the 3 zones. I don't know. People seem to love it, but
but people, when we say people also have the attention span of a gnat, and so it's hot right now. Doesn't mean it's gonna drive the company for 30 years. I doubt Marvel Snap will be something people talk about in 6 months to a year from now. And
I think that's one of the biggest, worries.
Want it hot for 6 months or a year? No.
Yeah, well, you can easily delete a game off of your phone, or stop playing it if it's on your Xbox or your PC or whatever. But if you have physical Magic the Gathering decks or binders full of cards, like you're tied to it in a more physical and visceral way. Like, you got to deal with that shit one way or another. Like,
Well, no,
you got
exactly.
all those
You have a
commons.
monetary investment with it, right?
Yeah.
Which is what I was talking about before. It's not just like an old Monopoly game that's busted. You're just gonna, well, toss that Joker in the trash. I'll go pick up a new one tomorrow. It's a very different thing, and that's why I say that that's where I got into the whole ranting about I'm okay with reprinting. The problem is it seems that they are ringing. We were talking about this basically same thing during Double Feature. Like, it's just a pure, how much liquid can I wring out of this bar rag?
Yeah, right. How much
They're
water's
squeezing
left
as
in the
much as
bucket?
possible.
Yeah.
But they're doing it on a meta sense. They're doing it out of over the entire game. Cards that haven't been reprinted in 20-something years. It's just, and they're reprinting. You didn't have reprint sets. You just didn't. Like,
Yeah, right.
even
That wasn't a thing for a long time in Magic the Gathering.
The closest would be like the core sets. You would have some reprinted cards, and those were never worth shit either. And nobody was really looking forward to it. That was to get newer people into the game, to have a bulk of kind of archetypes to play with.
Even now, when you go back and you open up core sets from, I mean, shit, I was doing core 13. There's not much in that entire set that's, particularly worthwhile.
So again, the reprints were never really awesome, and now people are somehow looking forward to it because they want to have the valuable cards. Here's the problem. Once you have, oh boy, how do I put this? It's like the hot girl, right? Until the first time she decides to sleep with you, you'll do anything. You'll drop every penny you have. You'll drive all the way across town to just to spend 10 minutes with her on a bench. You'll do all these crazy things until you sleep with her the first time. After that, it's like, oh,
Look at how good it is. You might still keep doing that.
No, it's never the same, right? So once you get those cards, once you have that object of desire, and then when you realize, oh, it's just another cheap one and everybody else has had their turn with it too, you're not quite as excited about it. And that's what's going to happen with all these reprints. Desirable cards that you never put in, didn't even proxy them. But you're super excited to have it because it was an expensive card that's not going to be expensive in 3 months.
Right, yeah.
So that's what they're doing with it. They're taking the excitement. They're deflating the balloons. Right? And that's essentially what's happening. They're dropping the pants of Magic and reprinting it. For what purpose? I don't know. We were talking about it. I don't think they can sell off.
I think they said it. I think Mark Rosewater said it recently in a Blogatog post. Fucking $1 billion in a year, baby. That's why they did it, Bob.
Okay, but you can get that $1 billion in that year, right? But let's say that's cashing in all the equity that you were going to make in the next 10 years.
Yeah. Well,
15 years.
Yeah.
But you got $1 billion today out of something that would have been worth $5 billion over 10 or 15 years.
Yeah, maybe.
You're cashing. It's called short-term gain, long-term loss. And that's very much what this feels like to me. That they're wringing out the equity. This is what it looks like when you do that. This is Richard Gere in Pretty Woman selling off all the expensive things in a company to gut it.
Yeah.
And that's what these people are doing. Understand this. Understand that mechanic of what you have with the CEOs and the upper management. If they're moving on to the next company and they get to say, look, I tripled profits at Lockheed,
exactly.
Between 2020 and 2025, and we brought in $8 billion worth of revenue. Now, they don't tell you that the PS subtext of that is, I drained all the equity they built up over 25 years prior to that to make that happen. So I don't give a shit what happens when I leave it.
I also drove away the large majority of their retail, consumer base.
And they're going to move on to next company, right? We're here for the long term. They're not.
Yeah.
So careful about that, about getting everything you wanted and having all these tutors for cheap and free. That you took 25 years of work and you traded for magic beans. That's what I feel is happening. And I haven't been this vocal about it.
I was just going to say magic
very
beans.
Much what this feels like.
Yeah, the more you eat, the more you toot.
So, that's the direction that I see. So until I see a change in that, I'm certainly not investing in it. It feels bad.
Yeah.
Danger Will Robinson,
Yeah.
Crazy Robot Arms. that this is not. It's not a feel good even for what I've dropped over the last 10 years, which is why I've said for a long time, whatever you buy, I hope you're buying it because you like it and don't care if it goes to zero. I
Right.
really
Yeah.
mean
Yeah.
that.
Make sure you're like cool having it. And that's
Mhm.
exactly it with like all the stuff I have. Like I was just talking with my buddy about the showcase triumphs. It's like I don't know why they're not more than $20, and since they're gonna get reprinted sooner than later, yep, that value's just gonna go down. It's like, but I'm never gonna get rid of those because they look so fucking awesome. Like that's just the collector side of me. Like the investor side, definitely a little bit lower. Whereas the collector portion is just, yeah, man, too cool. Can't get rid of those. I need those in all my decks. If they get cheaper, well, I just might get them.
Well, here's the thing. Like if you're worried about losing value, then yeah, it's get what you can while you can, because I do feel that anything that is not reserve list will get reprinted soon, and anything that is reserve list, I think, can be reprinted in the next 5 years. What do you think they're going to do if they really start struggling? If there really is a massive downturn in purchases of new product, what do you think they're going to do next? People don't talk about it, and people say, "Oh, they reprinted the reserve list." No, they didn't. No, they didn't. The reserve list only applies to tournament legal
Yeah.
cards.
Yeah.
But guess what they can do? Right?
The same thing they just fucking did over and over.
Only do it with the actual reserve list. Just say we're abolishing the reserve list. Come at us.
Yeah. There's nothing. No one's going to actually get a suit through.
No.
It's just ridiculous. They're not liable for that. So I can't wait to see it happen, honestly. Just to see the veins pop out in
People said they
Moxman's
were going to
fucking
do it
forehead.
with this. People said they were going to do it with Magic 30. I had yet to see a flood of lawsuits coming in about Magic 30 and violating the spirit of the reserve list. And people when you call them to here's the thing. In order to open a lawsuit with them, that costs a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hiring lawyers ain't cheap. Been through 2 divorces. Trust me, not cheap to get lawyers to do this for you. And they're not going to do it for free. And you're trying to get money out of a game. You're going to say it's a collectible, and it's going to hit the court, and the judge who doesn't know dick about Magic is going to go, what? Beanie Babies? No. Collectible? He's going to think Beanie Babies and Pog and everything else that's gone south when people thought they could invest in Holly Hobby and all this other horse shit. Those don't get massive court cases either. And even if you do, you know what WotC will do? After they've made their
win. Yeah, they'll throw their big ass lawyers right in their faces.
No, you know what'll happen if WotC goes ahead and prints the reserve list and drains $5 billion out of the banked up equity. You know what they'll do? Wizards of the Coast will file Chapter 13. That's it.
Right. They'll just fucking
money
restructure.
anyways.
Yeah.
Like they're not going to pay it out, folks. So the delusions, even if it thought it was going to go sideways, it's going to go up. Well, it's its own company. It's not Hasbro. Hasbro's a parent company, but they can definitely divorce themselves from WotC and say, no, that was WotC making those decisions, and it filed Chapter 13. So they have the multiple nets that they can ditch all that shit, and it's ridiculous to think that you would win a case and make any money. Even if you win a case, it'll just be a moral victory, yay, and then the company folds. Cool. So that's how that would roll. You're not going to get massive payouts. They didn't make the money off those cards in the first place. They made $3 a pack off of those cards. So at any rate, if things start going sour, don't kid yourself that they'll just completely walk right through that reserve list. Absolutely. 100%. And they'll just print in secret layers and drain as much money out of a probably 1 to 2 year window, and then either spin the company off or just fold it up. That very likely could be a scenario. So
yeah, I mean, the only way to know is to wait. Yeah, I mean, trudge along. It's one of the best things I heard in some fucking anime from some sensei in the middle of a battle is the best thing you can do is just trudge along. That's realistically in this moment, all we can do is wait for the next moment and the next and the next with this. I mean, vote with your wallets. Yeah, absolutely. Engage with the products you want to. Fucking sucks, but I don't know how many angry emails I can write.
You know what the beautiful thing is about all that, though? The silver lining and all that? For those that are not in Moto and Arena, we have the cards already. They can't shut us down.
Yeah. Oh, that's exactly
right?
it. Yeah.
We get to play all we want.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what happens to
Yeah.
the future of Magic.
Yeah.
We have 20-some-odd thousand unique cards that we can play with.
Yeah. No matter if Hasbro says, okay, Risk is now, we'll never sell a board game of Risk again. It's only a free game, but every time you want to play, you have to put 99 cents in. Okay, cool. I already own Risk the board game. Cool. I can play it as much as I fucking want. That's the situation here. Is Magic the Gathering the product we have? Like this giant fucking stack of cards I have over here. This is my shit. These are mine. They can't take those away from me. I can do what I want with them. If I want to give them to my friend, if I want to make a deck out of this, if I want to play Pauper, turn it into a modern deck maybe instead. I can do whatever the fuck I want with it. It's my cards. I can, hang out with a couple of my friends in Discord and design a new way to play with these cards. It's ours. So what they do as a company to sell us more shit, that's out of my hands. So it's just the two buckets, the one bucket of, hey, shit I can do things about, and the other bucket of shit I can't do anything about. That's one's got a way higher level of water in it, I'll be honest, boys.
I'll say it's funny. I'm looking at the die face there, and it had 23. I don't know if I'm holding it up correctly there, so you can see it.
Oh yeah,
23.
Yeah.
It was basically 2023. So, I think that people need to take a look this year. I would recommend. I don't want to say I think they should. I hate saying that. I hate telling people what to do. I really do.
Do it.
I don't mind saying what I do.
Except for my catcher. That guy can fuck right off. That's what he could do. I'm so glad. Okay, honestly.
I didn't say shit to him when he came in.
No, I did, Thursday, and I'm so happy I did. High point in 2023 so far is my catcher came in on the round table. I saw him, the historian, in the chat, and I was like, hey, speaking of shit, hey, my catcher, how you doing?
Yeah,
yes.
I don't like the guy personally. He does great content. He really does. Like his
I'm not knocking that.
His live content is just complete trash.
Oh, dude, yeah, that gets raw. Like
well, not only that, it's
this
petty
spade calls a spade. Yeah,
it's petty. It's all kinds of psychological mommy daddy issues or whatever the fuck, bad life choice issues. I don't know.
Yeah,
but it was toxic.
Oh, that dude rides the fucking bus. You can see it in his eyes.
But it's a shame because he does have talent. I'll say he's probably one of the more talented people when it comes to creating content, though he has been all negative Nancy for the last 2 months. Okay, whatever.
2 months.
I see Moxman turning over a new leaf and trying to be somewhat positive or at least different takes, not all reserve lists all the time.
Yeah.
At any rate,
I think he knows that reserve list is also a reserved amount of like draw to it. I don't think anybody really gives a shit. Like, at least with market movers,
how many people are buying like $300 cards right now? I'm not.
Bro, right? Like we were talking about it, and I looked up Taiga just to see.
Never will.
Yeah, no, like I looked up Taiga while we were in the beginning of the podcast here, and it's on a slow dive down. It's a little over 300. How the I'm not saving up to buy an original dual land. I love the guy. Moxman honestly seems real nice. But that's one of the like targets for his channel. I want to buy a whole bunch of reserve list cards. Yo, fuck that noise. I know that's on the docket to get destroyed later on. Like the value is slowly
what's
eroding.
Happen to the price of so much of that.
Yeah,
when they actually start reprinting the reserve list.
And that's the thing. It's like right now, even as it stands right now, they haven't abolished the reserve list. They haven't reprinted any of those original cards in a legitimate, notable manner, right? So all of them are losing value. So it's just what the fuck? Like they are now in their most pristine, investable, air quotes, situation, and they're losing money. Wait until they fuck it over and sell them again. Like that value as an investor is going to be gone. So dumb.
Well, I hope
that's just a dumb thing to do. That's like buying. It's like investing into laptops, Bob. Like that's what I'm going to buy a whole bunch of laptops. In 10 years, they're going to be worth a whole lot more money. Get the fuck out of here. Yeah,
that's apples to oranges. But what I would say is, I think that there might be a silver lining to getting rid of the reserve list, and what I think could potentially happen and should potentially happen is that we can finally start appreciating first printings, right? People do it with books. You know, the first printing of like a, I don't know, Lord of the Rings goes for compared to a Lord of the Rings you could run down to Walmart and buy right now. You know, even books for first printings, stamps, coins, other collectible things. The first printings are where people place the values, and I think that is healthy. I think that, like what Louis was talking about in one of his, he was talking about the reserve list as a problem for the game. That an acknowledgement, an actual legitimate, reasonable policy of making a reserve list based off of art and special printings of things with like the serialization that, okay, we'll print this with the serialization. Like if they never print another serialized worm coil engine, that'll make those, or Swiftfoot boots, anything that they say that we're going to serialize, they never reprint it serialized again. That's the only serialized copy of that you'll ever get. Special arts. There's so many things that they can do without a reserve list to make things collectible, investable. People will buy new product. They're taking, I don't know, such a bass-ackward approach to it.
Yeah.
But I would hope that when they do eventually abolish the reserve list, that I hate to say it, but all those, you know, Power 9 and all that shit, the alpha ones will be, I think you'll see those prices just go up, because that will suddenly be the Black Lotus to really have, and it is right now, but it'll even be more so. But what you'll see is things like, oh, well, if that's it for the Black Lotus, maybe Birds of Paradise, which gets printed a bunch, the alpha will go up. The Shivan Dragon will go up. The basic lands will go up. The things that we don't even really think about, because they're the first printings of a forest. It's the very first forest, the very first island. And that's what I'm talking about. Thank you, Feldy. I keep preaching this. I don't like the reserve list, but I like the concept of what it was attempting to preserve, but it gave us a false target, and it creates problems because it's dissonant with a game that has game pieces that people need to play, especially in the most popular format, Commander, with the dual lands.
Yeah.
So, again, it's. I think it would be healthy ultimately, but it would create a lot of turmoil in the interim. But I don't know. They've got a lot of problems they need to iron out, and I think that lots of it, you know, they need better advertisement. They need to innovate more. Like I said, new formats. They need to abolish the reserve list and come up with a better policy to give collectors some sort of guarantee, like, here are the actual policies that we will never violate, and then stick to them. Like I said, like if they make a serialized Viscera Seer, it only ever has one serialized version, period. They can keep printing it so people can play with it, but the only serialized ones for the people that want the bling and have the money, they have to go after those specific ones. That's what they should do with it, in my opinion. Make special versions that they'll never reprint masterpieces of you know, that's it. That's the only time you'll ever get those masterpieces. Was Kaladesh. Not that you won't reprint Soul Ring or Mana Crypt or anything else that's on that list, but they'll never reprint those masterpieces.
That specialty version. Yeah.
Right. That's where they should go. Not this stupid reserve list thing that prohibits people from getting play pieces.
Yeah. I think it almost seems as in some way it has stayed that way, because they haven't reprinted specifically inventions or the evocations, or, you know, so far the textured foils in some way have been reprinted, though. Like there's different variants of those textured foils. Like the textured foils from Double Masters 22 is different than in Dominaria United. There's a textured like border foil, and
well, here's the thing.
I don't know.
We're way too short in the life cycle, and there's far too many variants, which is what we keep talking about.
Somebody said that earlier.
What's
variants.
the correct variant to grab? Do you grab the borderless? Do you grab the texture? Do you grab the oil slick raised foil? Do you grab the masterpiece? Do you grab the expeditions? What's the version that's going to be the desired one? Right there, we're just like in this, you know, boggle phase of variants with cards.
You grab whichever one you like the most.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was just thinking. Is like when I saw that Mystic Remora was getting reprinted in a secret lair, and then it got 2 new versions in Dominaria Remastered as well. And I was sitting on near 15 of the Ice Age ones, It's like, which version do I like most? Honestly, I think the borderless ones from Dominaria Remastered look really cool. Probably gonna
Yeah.
have to snipe a couple. Like, I think they just look good. So okay, cool. I'm just gonna get some of that version. Like, I I'm not the average Magic the Gathering player, collector, investor, whatever you call it. Like, I I don't care that much. Which is funny that I have a YouTube channel. I host a podcast about it. Like, I have an opinion on it and everything. I want to see the best for it, but hey, man, I just want some cool cards, and I'd like for the product to be cheap.
Here's a promise I'll make to the audience. Even if Magic goes in the pooper, I'll stay online giving opinions about other things.
Yeah.
Other
Yeah.
things.
Exactly. Yeah. That's
So
still going to be a
Magic is
thing.
one thing, but I could sit here and talk about Diablo 2 for hours. I could talk about
right. Yep.
board games.
A shit show of
Never ending.
D4, you know.
Yeah, well, no,
and
realistically, on the same thing, we've talked about playing Minecraft and shit together. Once I actually get a computer that, like, I can do things like that, I honestly don't know if I could play fucking Minecraft on this computer. Full stop.
I would like
like,
Matt
but-
to DM a game for us.
Yeah, well,
I hate to say it, but I would love to have Matt DM a game for us. We probably need.
oh,
What
that
you
would
say
be
is
fun
optimal?
as shit.
Four players, Matt. We had that conversation.
I like 4 players. Yeah, that's my sweet spot.
And just do like a 2-hour session once a week. I'd be down for doing that if you guys can squeeze it into your schedule. I'd love to play some D&D.
Oh, dude, I absolutely can. I've been
Maybe even have like a guest spot for like people like the three of us, and then we bring in 2 guests for a specific. I don't know.
Oh,
if we
they
could
play as
make
like a fucking NPC or something. They're like a caravan guard, and they're a named character.
Sure.
And boom,
have
that's
2
who you
guests
play.
come in and play characters for a short period of time,
Yeah.
maybe a couple weeks or a month, and then we open up the spot for other people to participate. Yeah, we can come in and talk about stuff. I love Magic, and I'm going to continue to talk about it as long as it's relevant.
Yeah.
But there are other things.
Also,
that we
as
can
long as
do.
it's relevant in my life, like you said,
Yeah.
people are on average in Magic the Gathering 2 or 3 years. It's running up on that point for me now, where I came in for Time Spiral Remastered, and I'm starting to get to the point where, like, I don't care about it as much as I used to. I love it. That's not the thing. It's just that with what's going on in Magic right now, like you said, I've got to be able to look back on Magic for buying opportunities. And that's what's enthralled me, is I'm getting to open up like all sorts of this crazy shit. Like, what is this? Core 21 original
dude,
called
421 is such a good set. I
Fate
don't know why.
Reforged. I've never opened Fate Reforged or a
Oh, it's not a
Mystery
good
Booster. Like, Mystery
Boosters are
Booster
good.
seems fun. Like,
Mystery
you know-
Boosters can be good. They can be complete trash, but they can be awesome.
Looking back, having fun with engaging with a product I want to engage with is probably from 10 fucking years ago. So that's an interesting thing about Magic right now for me, is I'm not, Brian Giles brought it up earlier. Hey, Pat, did you look at the leak for Magic the Gathering's Phyrexia All Will Be One? No, honestly, because I don't give a shit about that whole arc. Like, I don't care about what's coming out in Magic right now. Like, Bob asked me, hey, Pat, did you see what's happening with Commander Legends? It's like, shit, yeah. I was looking at box prices this week. Like, same thing with Ikoria. Like, I'm still checking out that kind of stuff. Like, dude, you hit a fucking Lotus in a Commander Legends box, it's like $100.
Until they reprint it, and they will.
Well, that's exactly it. My buddy's got 2, and I was like, get fucking rid of those as fast as you can. Like, it's dumb to hold on to that, because that's clearly going to be a reprint item. So that's kind of fun. As someone who wants to do like a little bit of hustling and shaking and moving, it's like, ooh, damn, you get a Lotus and a Vampiric Tutor. Your box is paid for. Oh, man, that was fun. And you got to open up a bunch of packs. That's a good time. It's also risky, because that's just not how
I'll
this
say
shit-
this. Drafting it was an amazing experience. I mean, that's
Oh,
one of my
absolutely.
favorite drafts
Yeah.
I've ever done was with Matt, playing Commander Legends. That was a lot of fun that night. We drafted a couple of rounds, and that's when I found out just how strong Liesa is out of that. And nobody ever
right,
plays
right.
it. Oh my God, she's oppressive, dude. But especially in the draft format, woof. I think is a beast as a commander.
But back to
Yeah,
what you
I'm
were
pretty
saying,
good.
Bob. I would absolutely love
You
to
did.
get in
Yeah,
on
I did the Cascade deck.
I'd love to get into a D&D campaign online with you guys. I think that would be friggin' incredible.
The hard part will be organizing a time with Matt because he has a very full schedule. He's a very popular guy.
He is pretty cool, so I get that.
I'm old, so we got to try to squeeze in Commander raids and D&D. I would, but this is what I'm saying. There are plenty of places for us to go as content creators, and hopefully we have a following and we're interesting enough to listen.
And I've been doing some recording stuff in the background. I'm getting ready to start up another channel, actually, just doing like reading. So it's easy, but I mean, don't get me wrong, it takes time to just sit and read out loud an H.P. Lovecraft novel. So,
what blows my mind? What I've been watching a lot of lately, like log sawing videos, like when they put them on those sawmills. And what blows my mind is it'll be like 7 million views. I'm like, God bless it, to watch a log being sawn. He doesn't even talk. He just cuts a log.
Yeah.
And it's like, we put so much more effort and thought and time into what we're doing here than running a machine to cut a log. And it's I
watch this guy called Markiplier, and he's got, I think, 32.5 million subs. And I was watching him play some dumbass game, just sitting around for like 30 minutes, him just in a room by himself, just playing a game on the computer, recording it. And it had like 104 million views. It was like, God damn, for 30 minutes, this guy just played on his fucking computer and like interacted with chat while he was doing a live stream. Later recorded it into a YouTube video and put it up at 104 million views. So I've talked with a couple of other YouTube creators in our atmosphere. For some reason, I'm pretty friendly with a lot of people, right? Some of them are getting close to $10 per 1,000 views. So this guy's making like $100,000 off of one fucking video, like an afternoon of work. It's goddamn insane what some people are able to make off of the internet nowadays. So yeah, we could definitely branch out a little bit. I feel as though Magic the Gathering can be a bit niche.
Well, there's just so many of us, right? There's so many Magic the Gathering channels, and nobody really knows shit. Let's just be quite frank.
Dude, I had a whole video about how people don't know shit, and it got like 1,300 views at this point.
Yeah,
people are still watching it. Yeah, like,
it's great because it's true, and I don't know either, which is why I do my damnedest to explain. Not only here's my opinion, but here's why my opinion. So take that for what it's worth, and then do whatever you want with that information and my opinion on things. Which is why I also call people out when they try to state opinions as facts, and I'm like, no, not a fact. Stop it.
100%.
Because it's so muddied. And people say things like it's so definitive, like Rudy says something about, oh, he must know something I don't know. Bullshit.
No, that guy could just be a fucking idiot. I mean, he is kind of dumb sometimes. Like, don't get me wrong, he's a multi-millionaire. He's holding all the bags. He's not
even
fucking around.
He's not right all the time.
Yeah, and it's super duper true.
Well, but he said something important, which is you need to be right more often than you're wrong. And that's what I'll say. I've been wrong. I was wrong about Cavern of Souls, not terribly wrong, and I do have a copy to send you, Pat. So I'm gonna need your address.
It's still above. That thing's still holding strong, well above almost. $50.
Well, so that's the thing.
It was down at like $45. I took screenshots. And
straight up though, like,
what did you say you would go under?
I said it would go under 42, and it got down to 45. So I was close, but it didn't get quite that low.
But in the next 6 to 12 months, it'll probably be a $25 card once it gets like another reprint cycle.
If it gets another reprint, forget it. If it's in the Lord of the Rings set, the Mines of Moria, right? Tell me a more appropriate card for the Mines of Moria than Cavern of Souls.
Yeah, right. Or wherever they had all those fucking ghost warriors from whatever Lord of the Rings movie that one was. Second one, third one.
Yeah, when the dead.
It's literally a whole shitload of souls. It's like, oh, that fits really good. There's a bunch of really good things that they're not going to do with the set. that's my biggest worry.
I don't know. Here's the thing, right? That I get more correct with my predictions about Magic than I get wrong. Like I was talking about, they're going to reprint things that are on the reserve list in a non-tournament legal format 2 years ago. One of the very first videos I put on the channel before Matt was even part of the channel. You can go back and look it up. It was like reserve list talk and a giveaway update. And that's back when I did giveaways, which is a bad idea.
Yeah, no,
I get things right and I get things wrong, but I always try my best to give supporting reasons and information rather than just pulling shit out of my ass. What's that?
Matt said I did my best, and I said, but why doesn't Daddy love me yet? Well, it's like, Cotton Hill says, sometimes, boy, your best just ain't good enough.
I'm going to open sealed product right now.
Oh,
like, literally
shit,
right
Bob.
now. I'm bored. Ready for this? ASMR.
By sealed product, do you mean like a ding dong?
It's just basic lands
magic product
from like a fat pack.
What's that?
It's the basic lands from a fat pack. That doesn't count.
Yeah, there you go.
It's sealed product.
I saw the wax paper. I'm like, that's not sealed product.
I just thought it was ho-hos or like something like that. Oh, it's like, oh shit, Bob's enjoying some sugars.
So there you go. I just opened some magic cards on camera, just impromptu. Don't ever say I don't open shit.
I mean, I put out fucking bunches
Not
of
opening
shorts.
these though.
The new commander, this one right here. I don't know if you guys know who this is.
No.
Nope.
Is that Vintage Masters?
It says Vintage Masters. I'm guessing that's maybe when she first came out. It's Savala the Explorer something or other.
Is it Savala? The one
It's
that was
Savala.
in Jumpstart? Or
No, not that one. There's a white green one. Savala Explorer Returned. So this is my new league deck that we're doing for this month, and you have to do pre-con. And I've been on an enchantment, enchantress deck, the kick, and the Sithis deck that I created was too strong, and I was winning every game. I basically took all three of my opponents fighting me arch enemy style to kill me, and I barely died. I almost was able to still win. So I decided to like kind of tone it back, and I'm like, okay, how can I find a commander that is white green that has something to do with enchantments? I didn't quite find one in a pre-con. Huh?
I need to put this in my group hug deck.
Oh yeah, she's great in the group hug. Yeah, each player reveals the top card of his or her library. She has a tap ability. She's a 2/4 for 3 mana, white, green, colorless. Each player reveals the top card of his or her library. For each non-land card revealed this way, add green to your mana pool, and you gain 1 life. Then each player draws a card. So the thing that's great about this is white-green, so you can play Enchantress style. And yes, you're giving your opponents cards, but you're seeing what they are. So knowledge is power. Being able to play around things, seeing what they draw is nice. You're also drawing a card, but you're also ramping. So I feel like with enough advantage from enchantments that this is okay. This is the closest thing I could get, and in playing it, it's very strong. And this would also be a really good commander raid.
Put it in commander raids, right?
No, I'm talking about in league.
I'm just saying commander raids, it's even better.
But yeah, in commander raids, this is, you know what's funny? I was actually thinking, I'm like, oh, this would just be a better Tulane. But then I was thinking it doesn't have the blue, so I don't know what you would lose if you took out blue.
Oh, lots of things. No, I'm not taking out blue.
Because Tulane does nothing. She does nothing for the group at all. She gives you the colors, but she actually doesn't help anybody. So...
No, but it helps me draw through things, right? That it's a perpetual draw engine. Like, you can just draw.
I don't know. And playing it in Commander Wraith, I haven't seen you ever cast her. She's almost never out.
No, he doesn't come out often, but he's a bouncer.
It's him.
It's a him.
Every time it's Tulane sounds like a female name. It's a feminine name.
Okay, sorry, but it's a him, clearly from the art.
Well,
I
bet you if I don't know his pronouns.
Sorry, I don't know his pronouns, but
oh my god, I'm not really. I don't really hate on the pronoun thing. I just don't care. But one thing that bugs me is there was one of the cards that two of the Planeswalker cards that I printed out from MTG, or I make playing cards. They have the pronouns down at the bottom right. It says him/her, or her/her. What was it? She/her. And I'm like, why the fuck would you put that on a Magic card? It's just so weird to me. Like it's just strange. It's just weird.
Now that's a niche audience.
Yes. Like again, I don't care what you can be called whatever you want to be called, but like it's a very strange place to put it on a Magic card. I don't know.
But at any rate, I mean that's in total, that's what I'm looking forward to in 2023. Is to kind of sum it up. I mean, most people probably just heard Debbie Downer. For me, 2023. I am excited about receiving my complete bundles. You know, I'm very happy about that. I think those oil slicked raised
textured, ribbed, warming sensation.
Yep,
for
marinated.
her
Yeah.
pleasure.
They're already basted. Yeah.
Yep.
Pre-curled. That's gonna be nice.
That'll be really nice.
So that's definitely I know people are probably going to be most excited about the mythics that come out of it, but I'm more excited about the basic land. I always love basic lands.
The Elish Norn is insane, by the way.
Yeah. It's very
I've
unacceptable.
watched a few Commander games with her, and it's absolutely backbreaking.
I've said that for weeks now. As soon as I saw
I
that,
always said she was insane, but I actually think she might be. She's actually, I wouldn't say might. She's definitely stronger than Shieldred. The new Shieldred is 100% stronger.
Yeah, it's super fucked. Yeah.
I mean, Shieldred, you could do something. You could kill people with Shieldred. I guess you can't really. Maybe it's not stronger now that I think about it. Because, like, with Peer into the Abyss and Shieldred, you could just straight up kill somebody.
It's way more annoying.
It's for sure. It's more annoying.
Yeah. It just turns off some decks. Like, it's not going to kill an Omnath deck. Like, you're not going to die just because that Elish Norn is out. It's just that your deck doesn't work. Like, it just doesn't function. It's like, okay, cool. I can still put out my cards and I can get a bunch of lands and stuff. It just doesn't do anything. It's like,
I still think Confounding Conundrum is still one of the most backbreaking cards I've ever liked.
But Shieldred doesn't also really hurt a life gain deck either.
What? She can, like I said, with Shieldred in the field and you peer into the Abyss, they're going to die no matter how much life they have.
Not if I've already got 8,000 life.
The fuck? I mean, then you already won.
No. But I got life gain decks that can get up that high easily. I don't know if you saw I actually was watching. I don't know. It's some crazy. I don't know. He's got some sort of really hard foreign accent. I don't know if he's German or whatnot. And he plays on Arena, and he had a deck. I've got it to where I'm getting up to where I break the game. By like turn 8 or 9, I can have upwards of like 5 billion life. So it's.
Yeah, I saw that you said that it overflew. It was like an overflow on.
Yeah, it just made the game go or stop. I'm like, okay, well that was funny. So there are ways that you can definitely do that. At any rate, you know, there are going to be solutions to Shieldred and solutions to Elish Norn. They're both. I mean, I said clearly Shieldred as soon as I saw the spoilers. I'm like, whoa, that's the card out of that set for sure. And Elish Norn clearly going to be the card out of OV1. But here's the thing: how much will it be the card to have? Because they're already talking about banning it from the CAG.
Yep.
Like whether that means anything to your Rule 0 discussion at your particular play group or not, it does affect like the desirability and the value of the card in the financial.
Oh yeah, market. I mean, as someone personally,
look at Hull Breacher.
Yeah, or Luris. I mean, I sell cards.
Luris fucking smashed. Yeah, I'm so mad.
Hull Breacher
I'm mad
is a
about
good
that.
example too. Hull Breacher went from like $22 down to like $2-3. Like fucking lost.
My foil
so
full art borderless Luris went from 115 to like nothing. Like if I let me look at
you should sell them if that upsets you, right? Look, guys, that's why I told you.
$22.
Your Magic 30 packs.
So bad.
Yeah.
Your Magic 30 packs are about to take an even bigger hit once they get all the boxes out to all the LGSs.
Yeah,
I'm sad that I didn't take the offer of 1,800 or 1,700, whatever it was. I'm
okay. Well, they're going to drop even more.
Yeah.
They're still selling it like $400. But once they reach the hands of all the LGSs, I agree. There's going to be a bunch of LGSs drowning right now that they're going to sell them off. Sell it. Sell it now. It's not like it's going to go up more in the short term. If they go up long term, you might be sitting on them for 5, 7, 10, 15 years before they really become super value. So, like anything, like the first thing I saw when Lance, somebody pulled the RKF out of a single draft pack snipe. He bought 2 draft packs and got the borderless Force of Will. And I was like, they were saying it was $160. I'm like, you better sell that Joker right now. They just reprinted Force of Will, with Double Masters? A little over 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And they printed it now. Guess what? You can expect they're going to print it again in the next 2 years. And when it does, it can't keep those high prices.
Right, it's just gonna keep going down.
So my advice is, if you pop one now, early on in the hype, sell that Joker if you're worried about the
Right.
value of it, and then you're going to be like
Yeah.
Matt and be upset that my card that I really wanted, highly desirable cards, lose their value. Then pitch them. Sell them now.
Ooh.
But
Honestly, the
tough,
one
you know?
right now that I'm like super cautious on keeping is the Goblin Man. I don't know why I always forget his name. Dockside Extortionist.
Oh, dude. So
He's
it's
on
funny,
suicide watch right now. If he ever gets banned,
yeah.
he's just straight up zero. He's worth nothing anymore.
Yeah.
So
So
sell it
I
now.
actually,
it's not like you're going to have warning.
yeah.
Just sell it.
Yeah. So I pulled the foil Dockside out of a couple of packs that Big Box Dave sent me for Christmas. Right. First thing I did was check out what it was going on Card Kingdom for. Their trade-in price was $68. Fucking sent that out by that weekend. Absolutely ridiculous. So that's one of those things, you got to shop around, not just for buying cards, but for selling cards too. Go on TCG, sell that shit on eBay, Card Kingdom, trade it away to other people, Try and get your value out of it if you're getting rid of cards.
So, yeah, they're not. That's why I said that fireside chat was just an eye opener to me. That they're just going to print, reprint. I think we're going to see Look, let me ask you this, quick trivia. So we're not even really out. We're on pre-release weekend of a 100% reprint set. When was the last basically full reprint set?
Double Masters 22.
6 months ago.
Yeah, just about.
Right? So within 6 months, they have 2 reprint sets. Right?
Yeah. I don't think they have anything. Well, Lord of the Rings is going to be kind of a reprint-ish set. They're going to have
in the last 2.5 years, you had Double Masters, Commander Legends, Time Spiral, Double Masters 2022, Dominaria Remastered. I'm not even talking about all the other reprints that are in the actual other sets or Secret Lairs.
Yeah, or Jumpstart reprints. Yeah.
Okay, so you've had 5 in the last 2.5 years. That means they're printing reprint sets at the rate of every 6 months.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's. If you look prior to the last 2.5 years, the rates were much lower. It was what, a master set every 18 months?
Yeah, 18 months, 2 years.
And that only goes back, what, about 10 years?
Yeah.
Prior to that, you didn't have reprint sets. You had Time Spiral, which was like a kind of one weird one off. But you didn't have reprint sets in the first 15 years. So, you can't keep pace with that kind of print volume of reprints. So they're going to run out, and if they just go, oh, well, we'll reprint Double Masters again, or we'll mix up Double Masters, so we'll have a double Masters remastered. It'll be Double Masters remastered, and
right.
It's they're draining all of the reprint equity in a really short window.
Yeah, they're going through this stuff real quick. Yeah.
So where does that put them in 3 years? 5 years?
Right. Yeah. I mean, as long as they keep making banger cards, they'll have more stuff to reprint.
The problem is people just don't even get to enjoy the cards. Like, Shieldred's what, 4 sets ago already? Already getting reprint?
Yeah.
So they're not even giving space for new cards to grow and breed.
Yeah, right. Modern
We've already had
3 is going to be coming
reprinted.
up soon enough. Yeah.
Ragavan's coming up, and so is Jeweled Lotus. Those would be on the chopping block in the next year, I would say.
Yeah. And they'll find a way to fit the Triumphs in something. Just how that shit's going to work. Even the new ones from Streets of New
There'll be
Capenna.
a secret lair.
Yeah, like Ledger
They'll make a
Shredder.
quadrome.
Yeah, right. They're just going to outpace it. They're going to keep the
Well, the problem with
when
when you start getting up to like 4 land types is that now your commander has to be 4 color specific.
Yeah.
3 is tough enough.
Did you guys hear the rumor about Atraxa in the All Will Be One? They're trying to think that Atraxa might get the red pip, so it'd be 5-color Atraxa, because the box is red. All will be one. She's already 4 colors, but she hasn't conquered the red territory yet. So then there's going to be potentially, the rumor is 5-color Atraxa, which would be pretty good. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, we'll have to see where it goes. I would say enjoy, really, really focus on the playing aspect of it, not so much the financial or the collector. Those days, I think, are going to be pretty dismal and dark. As soon as the worm turns on that, you'll hear content creators, Rudy, everybody else, screaming from the rooftops about how great it is again. But don't give up heart on the game if you enjoy the game. Now, if you got into it for just financial value, well, you're probably fucked. Sorry, I just hate to say that. But check out new formats like our Commander Raids. Come up with your own new format. Take our format and alter it some. Make the game exciting. Take license to do something with it that maybe nobody else has ever thought to do with it. Take heart with your group. Enjoy the people that you're with. Try to reach out and play more games with people. Try to share it with your family. Get your wives and husbands and kids and
right. Maybe
involved.
buying new sets isn't worth it. Maybe just going to draft events at your LGS is going to be a better way to interact with Magic. Go make friends and
you bring people in.
Yeah.
Be the ambassador. That's what I would say 2023 needs from the players, is to be the ambassadors for the game. Not necessarily the financial lifeline, but if we all stop buying everything, if nobody buys any Magic in 2023, it folds. Like, it's that simple.
Yeah,
but,
right. Yeah. No, it's
so
true,
buy
though.
what you really want to have, and if it goes to 0, you're like, you know what? I really like those oil slick, raised, textured, humming, light in the dark, glow in the abyss foils. Then have those. If you like a particular version of a card, do that. If you
know for me, I'm going back and I'm buying
MTG,
a shitload of revised lands lately. Just 20, 30 swamps, 20, 30 forests, plains, mountains, the whole thing. I think they look pretty boss with that white border on them. They just look cool to me.
You want to know something else? They're really easy to find when you're fetching them out of a deck of a commander
right?
deck.
Yeah.
That's one thing I do like about
really
the dual lands. Dual lands, they stand out when you're like going to fetch and you're like, I want just boom, found a dual land, easy. That makes sense. But if all of your basics are that way, and it's no longer easy.
Well, I mean, if you're talking about because it's white bordered, sure.
I have a decent amount of white border cards just splattered in random decks. I think it just looks cool.
Gross.
Oh, yeah, Transformers. That's dope.
I bought the whole secret lair for her because she likes
nice.
Transformers. And so they came in this week, and it was a belated Christmas gift for her. Yeah, I buy things and we open them, and I buy things that I don't know what the financial value is. I might want to borrow her Megatron, which is the Darksteel Colossus. But yeah. Oh, and they have, by the way, should I spoil this or should I let people learn? It seemed like the secret card in all those was a command tower. It's called
wow.
Oh shit! It's a really dope looking command tower too. I was like, oh, that looks awesome. It's like the Allspark or something, and it's really dope looking. So I was like, oh, I kind of want to play with that too. I also got the Just Add Milk secret lair. I don't remember what the secret card was with that one. It wasn't that impressive, but at any rate, yeah, I buy secret lairs. I buy the cards that appeal to me. So if they go to 0, who gives a shit? The love of my life has her Transformer Magic cards that if she ever decides to play Magic with me, she's got something that she likes.
Her comment popping up. This is completely unrelated, but her comment popping up reminded me of when you guys recommended for me to watch Andor. It's a Star Wars series if you're interested. Similar to like The Mandalorian, but probably I think actually slightly better. I enjoyed it.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, the thing that I didn't enjoy though, because I don't know if this has always been the thing. What's the deal with the blasters being like a one shot, one kill? They like hit in the shoulder and they're just fucking dead. Like, is that like a standard thing, or is that just?
That's the A-Team TV shooting with. Go back and watch the original Star Wars. Yeah,
I
it's
don't
very much
remember.
like that.
Like, I remember you getting
And
hit. And you're like,
stormtroopers
it
don't seem to
burns.
hit
It
shit,
sucks,
but
but like, it doesn't just kill you.
like the stormtroopers don't seem to be able to hit shit like when they're shooting.
Right.
Like they're terrible with their aim. But then like Obi-Wan Kenobi says, these blast points are too accurate for sand people. Only stormtroopers are that accurate. It's like, whoa.
No. I'm talking about in Andor. Anytime
I know,
anybody
one
get
shot,
hit,
one kill. You can
like,
hit them in the finger
any
and they
gun.
die.
Yeah, like what's up? Like that? Is that like that's just? How does
That
that
seems
work?
to be like a Star Wars thing in general for the most part. Like a lot of what I've seen is like you get shot once in the thigh and you're just freaking
you're just
donezo. Yeah.
I'm like, wait, what?
Maybe it's something akin to like a stun gun that hits you anywhere and you just and it's all that electricity coursing through you that just fries your neural circuitry.
I always thought
don't
it was
know.
like a plasma blaster, like it was shooting like plasma bolts, which would just like sear through you. But it ain't gonna. If it hits you in your arm, you're not gonna just die. But like the
Yeah.
moment they get touched by any bolt,
You're questioning the accuracy in a universe that has the Force.
I was just gonna say, yeah, it's mostly made up. Well, it's like not even that it's like made up. It's that it's such a suspension of disbelief while you're watching it. Like, why is there like no blood in Star Wars? I mean, lightsabers and stuff should
Well, there
really
is.
just.
there's a little bit.
I mean,
No,
yeah,
there's
a
blood.
little bit.
Like even in the very first one, when he cuts off that douchebag in the bar, when he cuts off his arm.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
the
he's gonna
old school
kill Luke.
ones. Like
It's
none
all
of the new
bloody.
shit. Yeah.
It's very bloody.
I always
Bloody
assumed
arm.
with it cauterizes the wound as it goes through it because it's hot.
Yeah.
Plasma.
Yeah,
Dude, I don't know. I don't try.
yeah.
that was
you know,
my
if I've
only.
already-
That was
I
my
mean,
only complaint. Was I was just sitting there thinking, I'm like, so he gets shot in the shoulder and he just he's just dead. Like,
But
what do you
some people
mean?
get shot in the shoulder and they're okay.
I've never.
Yeah, as long as they're main
anytime anybody
characters.
gets hit, they're just
Yeah.
dead.
As long as they got that plot armor on.
So long as they're not wearing a red
Plot
shirt,
armor's
they're
pretty
fine.
good.
Yeah.
Do you guys know the
It's
red?
like,
Yeah,
oh,
other than
they-
that,
they-
it was
yeah.
pretty good. Also, I was a little
It's-
disappointed that there was no Jedi's or no Force at all. There was no dark side. Nobody had any kind of special powers. They're all just like normal dudes, and I'm like, it's still good. But I was really hoping for any kind of Mandalorian had the same way. I was just like, does anybody have any kind of
Yeah.
special powers like at all?
Grogu.
Oh, nobody's special. Interesting.
Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda.
I didn't
has-
watch either of them.
Andor is
really care
Andor
for
is
Star
definitely
Wars.
worth watching.
Andor is a much more serious. Do you agree that my assessment that it's a much more serious look at Star Wars? It's a much more serious and kind of adultish plot line
more
compared
gritty.
to the campy, fun one-liners, goofy little robot that spins around in circles and dances on his head to spit out coins from its coin slot. BB-8 is what I'm referring to. Why does this robot have a coin slot? They tried to always put the comic relief in, and they really did that. It's called tongue-in-cheek that they did since the very first Star Wars. But I always hate campy. I'm not into campy at all. That drives me
Yeah.
crazy. And Andor, not campy at all. Very serious plot line. A little slow at spots, but well acted. All the dialogue makes sense. What the plot lines and the storylines make sense.
Yeah, it's got a good plot.
It's like, did you understand what I'm saying? Like some of the episodes, like you could just cut out maybe 2 of the episodes, and it would probably be better. It's like, okay, I get it. You're dragging. Stop dragging.
I played PoE while watching it, so I didn't have any issues with pacing. I didn't, it didn't bother me. If I was just staring at the screen watching it, maybe, but I didn't have any issues with it.
I felt it was excellent. I mean, an excellent show overall. One of my favorite things I've watched recently. I'm currently watching C. I just watched all of season 2 with Jason Mimosa. And I don't know. It's not good. It's not good. Not a good show. But I don't know why I'm watching it. Trainwreck, show hole.
What have I been watching?
I just started watching. I'm on season 2 of the show that I hate, but I don't know why I'm watching it.
Because I got nothing else at the moment.
Jobless Reincarnation. It's this anime where this guy gets reincarnated and he starts as like a baby and then grows up in this like fantasy world. Like he was 37 and he got killed in a car accident, and then he gets reborn, but remembers everything from his first life. So he like grows up as a really perverted baby. Like, he loves sucking on his mom. It's just crazy stuff like that. And he grows up and he's got special powers because it's the main character kind of thing. So yeah, just fun little isekai.
I watched it. I watched the Blood Origins for The Witcher.
I've heard
okay.
that's pretty decent.
It was okay,
Have
but
you ever watched
it's super campy. Like it's just I don't know.
that time I got reincarnated as a slime?
Yeah, I actually just
That's a
watched
good one.
season 1 and season 2 last weekend. Just binge watched it. Freaking
That's a
loved
good one.
that one. I could
That's
watch
the first
it all
isekai
again.
I've ever watched. I didn't know that was like a genre, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
that's
hope
like
they
a
come out
whole
with a
thing.
season
So
2 of Arcane.
Matt, there's actually one of my favorite ones. It's called Overlord. Yeah. That one is definitely for like adults. It's a very fun one. He is like imagine if World of Warcraft like went on and like 12 years later like the number one person in World of Warcraft gets stuck in the game and it becomes real. And it's got that whole like breaking the meta constantly going on. It's just phenomenal. Great series. I'll actually binge watch that tomorrow. We should have an
That's
anime
about it.
club.
I've heard I keep getting recommended to watch Chainsaw Man. It just sounds so stupid.
I watched like the first episode and it seemed really fucking dumb. He's got a chainsaw for a head.
It
I mean,
looks
don't get me
retarded.
wrong. Anime is kind of crazy, but that's next level ridiculousness.
Yeah. I just I don't
And
know, I
if
was
all
rec-
that shit can make it, how come Magic can't
How come
have a
magic
show
is
on?
yeah, like if people
do you
are
mean,
buying
Magic's
into
massive?
that, like
the largest of its kind.
uh,
You got
it's ridiculous.
Chainsaw Man, but you don't have the story of Ugin and Nicol
Yeah,
Bolas.
right?
I thought they
Well,
are making an anime.
I guess that's one of the weird things is that like, hey, what up, Johnny? Is that like Vice Schwartz? The way that they're able to take different anime and constantly just make new products out of it, it's like they get an infinite supply of just IPs coming in. They don't even have to design cards really. It's like if someone made Pokemon for Pokemon.
No, I don't know why Magic doesn't do it. They it feels like they're dumping all this money into an empty bucket of Arena. If they took everything that they invested in Arena and put it into an anime, I think that the brand would have grown exponentially compared to what the growth they've gotten out of Arena.
Mm.
Because if they make Arena not free to play anymore,
Oh, yeah.
I would bet a significant amount of money that they lose 90 to 95% of all the players that play it.
Oh, I was just going to say the little amount I play of Arena would turn into the no amount of Arena.
Yeah. So, at
Raid
any rate,
Monster
I have
from
to
DJ
get rolling here. I promised Sherry Vegas I would go on a dog walk with her, and I have to pee. So,
Oh, nice.
it's about that time of the evening for me, gentlemen. Always a pleasure being here with
absolutely.
you, and thank you everybody for joining us. Hopefully, you get something out of it. Please don't take my comments as being too negative. It's more of a warning. Like, just assess what you're doing with Magic. I mean, you have to be more thoughtful than you have in the past. Like, really put some thought into it. Go out and crunch some numbers, and don't just depend on YouTube content creators to tell you what to do. Crunch the numbers yourself and really assess what it is that you want from the game. And then
I think
see
the
if you can
easiest
achieve
thing
that.
to do is to just not think at all and follow blindly the first comment on Reddit that you find. I think that's gonna be your best. That's my best advice that I like to follow.
That's
Just blindly
amazing.
follow.
Oh, it looks like we're getting
literally-
rated right at the end of our
Yeah.
show. Oh, you're stopping me from going to pee. All right, I can hold it for a little bit. But I mean, yeah, I think that people need to put more thought into it. Unfortunately, I think that that's going to define 2023 is to start thinking a little better about what you're doing with Magic. Meaning, go out and do your homework. I know it's not sexy, it's not fun. That means, what do I mean by doing homework? Let's define that a little better. Like, go out and shop all the different sites. Just Google's your friend, whatever product it is that
Oh,
you're trying
for
to
real.
look for, and then go to all the different places. Try to simulate a transaction, see what their shipping fees are, the taxes. Do they have taxes? There's lots of online sellers that have no taxes, no fees. I just bought a 3D printer last night. for $289. No fee,
Oh,
no
what'd you
shipping
get?
fee, no taxes.
One of those
A longer
Krieg,
a longer LK5 Pro
oh, that's a pretty solid buy. Yeah,
for
man. I'm
289.
actually Ray.
Wow,
Hey,
lots of
thanks
folks showing
everybody
up.
for
Holy
coming
moly.
in. Yeah, I'm looking to
Look.
get into doing some 3D printing in 2023 as well myself. I think it's going to be a
I
really
own-
interesting hobby.
I own 3 3D printers. 2? 3.
Yeah.
Well, 3. So 2
This will be my
PDA
first.
or PLA. 2 PLA and 1 resin. Resin is the way to go, honestly.
Oh,
If you're it depends on what you're printing. If you're printing like things that need high detail, like miniatures, yes, I agree. But if I'm printing things like
This is a resin print.
yeah, but if
Like,
I'm printing like keepers
it's just badass.
for like board games, for all the things, you don't really need a resin printer to print the trays that you insert into like board games to hold your map tiles and cards and all that stuff in neat order. There's many things you can print on PLA. Just the right tool for the right job. I do plan on getting a resin printer when they come down in price a little bit next time I see one on sale. I'm looking at the Saturn, the Elegoo Saturn. It's like a 9-inch print bed.
You'll never
there's
get
one I really want to
this
show.
level of print from a PLA. Like, look at his teeth. Like,
yeah, that's
just-
slick.
I don't know. I love my resin printer.
Do you do
Yeah,
any painting?
I did some painting today. I painted a stormtrooper today for my.
So that's something I'm looking to get into. Is I find it so like Zen inducing. It's so meditative. It's so calming. I could get
I
a
find
real
it
nice
exactly
setup
the opposite.
here.
I'm
Really?
stressed out trying not to get. Oh shit! I didn't mean to get that color on that spot. Damn it! Now I got to go back and
For me, it hurts my back because I hunch when I paint because you're typically like this. So like I find that my neck area, my neck and back areas tend to
Get a little tensed up.
get a little a little tense. I have some.
Get that.
I don't have any miniatures up here, but yeah, I've painted a decent amount of miniatures. I'm decent, but
I just need to get faster with it.
yeah, it takes hours to do, and in order to get fast,
it took me 3 hours to paint one stormtrooper today, and I have like over 1,000 minis I need to paint. So
Yeah.
you do
Oh,
it's like, ooh, that's
I've got
going to be a
lot.
retirement thing. But like I said, for 2023, getting back on track with that, what I would recommend to people, I'm not going to tell you what you should do. What I would recommend is spend the time to put the work in to do the homework yourself. Go out and look at the trends of things on TCG Player, and then incorporate that with your habits. Don't be so impulsive, like the FOMO and pre-orders. I'm not even going to go into that again. Yes, I pre-ordered complete bundles, and we can go into the analysis of that. And if you really want to get into the analysis of it on a deeper level, hit me up on Discord. I'll be happy to chat with you for hours on end about that ad nauseum. But do your homework first, and then watch trends over time before you make your purchases. Be more patient. Yeah, kind of suppress that id and put that impulsive buying urge down more so than you have in the past couple of years. Be more reserved with your purchase. I'm not saying don't make the purchase, but like a car, I never buy a car when I go in on the day I go look at it. I always wait. And if I think about it, and if I really want it a day or a week later, then I might reapproach it again. I always try to sleep on things. I've been waiting I said about the 3D printer last night. Literally that same one I've had in my cart for a week. And I've been looking at 3D printers for probably a year now, maybe more. Probably more like 3 years. And I hadn't pulled the trigger. And I'm not saying it's not analysis paralysis, but be a little more reserved that way. Is this card really something I have to have, or is it a FOMO? I just watched it opened on Cothran Cards, so I really want to get it. Let me go open 5 packs and then be disappointed because you didn't pull it. Be a little more reserved when it comes to impulse buys. Walking through Target or Walmart, or you just saw a deal on Amazon for the $111 collector box of Midnight Hunt. Great deal. Look at all these people. Let's bring that up, right? So everybody's like, oh my God. All these collector boxes. When did they go on sale? Drop to the 159 mark that all those people ran out and bought a whole bunch of, right?
Shit, I got a Crimson at I think like 126 or something.
Oh yeah.
And look at it now. You can get it for 110. So it's like, hey, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Is it something you really wanted, or did you buy it because, oh, it's a good deal? I
Right.
never want to buy something just because it's a good deal. If I didn't want it, I
Yeah.
still don't want it.
Yeah. That
The
was one of
biggest
the
issue that
issues
I
I had
have with
today.
3D
You
printers.
know, I almost went to the dollar store. Today's Saturday. You can get $5 off if you buy 25 or more. And I thought to myself, I don't need anything. I'm not even going to go to the store because I'll buy a bunch of shit I don't really need. So instead, I'm going to put that $25 towards, I don't know, back rub or something. Right? Treat
The
myself to
biggest
something
issue
I
that I
do
have
want to
with 3D
engage with.
printers you'll find is with PLA. That's the plastic version, the non-resin versions. I have an Ender 3. I have two Ender 3s. And the one that's in my office, for whatever reason, requires more attention than the one that's in my bedroom. And you'll find that like if the leveling on the bed is not correct, you'll have issues. You'll find that if the
Yeah.
if the PLA dries out or gets too much moisture, you'll have issues. You'll find that sometimes the batch of PLA you get isn't good, and it requires a different temperature, and the temperatures matter, and you have to find out what the right temperature is. You have to dial all these little settings, and honestly,
Yeah.
like I said, the one in my office, for whatever reason, I can basically, every time I print, I have to re-level the bed. I have to do all this crap. The one in my bedroom, a lot easier. I can just most of the time just print whatever the hell I want, and
Well,
most of the
they
time
do
it's
have
fine.
I think in the Ender 3 Pro, a lot of models nowadays
Yeah, there's
come with
auto
auto bed
leveling.
leveling.
Sure, it helps. But with
Mm,
resin, it's literally just cut it,
the pool.
print it,
Yeah.
and you're basically good. There's cleanup, which is a little annoying. You have to wash off the wet resin from the vat,
You
but
got to cure it, and then you got to
yeah,
clean up
you have to
all
have a
the
curing
everything.
station.
I
So
get it.
there's more fiddly bits, but with the amount of quality, I actually I probably should just sell my two PLA printers, to be quite honest, at this point.
It's funny that Fish brings that up. I mean, that truly highlights the point that I've been trying to make for a long time. When I say buy things that appeal to you, that you like, you don't mind being stuck with,
Mm,
because just like that, if you have something that you just look at and you go, yeah, shit, I really don't. If you wanted to, I love looking at stuff on my shelf that's not even worth anything. Like I have like a game nights one. I don't even know that I ever thought about making money on it, or the unsanctioned, the box set one. I just wanted to have one of it. I have the little mini
right.
cards, this world's smallest deck stuff. I put all kinds of weird shit just because I like looking at it on my shelf. I want to have it. But if you bought it with the explicit purpose of making money off of it, like you bought one at 200, never opened it, take you 5 to 10 years to make anything back.
Mm.
Yeah, don't do that. Don't buy
Yeah,
stuff that
right. Yeah.
you were only buying just because
You want to
you wanted
enjoy
to make
it.
a buck
Yeah.
on.
Well, so I play video games, right? So if I buy the new Halo, I don't think that I'm going to get money out of it. I think I paid my $60 and I got to fucking enjoy it. That's what this is supposed to be. If you want to have fun with it, buy it, have fun with it, it's yours. Engage with it that way. I think that people need to have a little bit more of that aspect when they're looking at Magic the Gathering. Instead of prices, value, singles in the market. It's cool to watch that stuff. I probably watch 2 or 3 market movers a friggin' day. But that's not super healthy when it comes to engaging with the product itself. Get some singles, have some great cards, play with them, use them, but
So
think of it for the face value. Yeah.
here's a way to look at things like having sealed product in a healthy way. I don't know, maybe I'm strange, but when I buy lottery tickets, I oftentimes never even go look to see if I made any money. The chances that I'm ever really going to hit the lottery, the 500 million, is so low. I don't really care. But until I actually go check the ticket, it might be a winner. I get to think about all the wonderful things I could do with an extra $200 million, all the boxes of cards I could give away to viewers. And, you just go, you play this what if game, right? But until you actually check that lottery ticket, until you actually take it into the store and go, yeah, you weren't a winner. You kind of won. You never know. Maybe even hit $1 million on like a secondary hit 5 numbers or some shit. But until I check, with that Schrodinger's pack, I never know. So I get to keep dreaming because I have the ticket. There's that possibility. And it's the same thing with the sealed boxes. And I don't mean just what's in them. Like I have a bunch of sealed, and why I like looking at my sealed collection is because, I don't know, maybe they'll be worth something 10, 15 years down the road. Maybe I'll be in a financial position I won't care. Maybe I get to open them with a bunch of friends because for some bizarre reason, I'm going to get a whole bunch of retirees at the time I'm going to retire that are also into Magic that give a shit about opening old Magic products. I don't know. But until I actually do something with it, kind of like selling stock when you don't make a loss with stock until you actually sell it. So same thing with the sealed product. I like looking at it for that very same daydreaming reason, is that I can reasonably afford what I'm purchasing. But as long as it sits on my shelf sealed, I have that future possibility of doing something with that sealed product. And I enjoy coming down, and it's a reminder, yeah, someday. Right? That's how you can sum up Gaming Bob's look at Magic is someday.
Someday.
And I have the financial freedom that it's not hurting me now. I don't need to sell it on. It's not. I didn't buy it on credit cards. So engage with it in a healthy way for you. For me, it's that, that future lottery ticket kind of thing, that where I don't know what I'm doing with all my sealed product. I'm sure it's worth more than what I paid for it, even with the downturn. But I enjoy looking at it.
I think Robert's he's where my head's at. The moment vampires become meta in something, I think Crimson Vow and could become a better set. But because it's not very popular.
You mean when they take all the valuable cards that are currently in the Crimson Vow set, if vampires become popular again, and just print them in that new vampire set?
Well, ideally they make a vampire that just makes vampires popular. That they just come out with like a sick new vampire commander, or I don't know, maybe standard could become is Crimson Vow still?
Because Edric's not good enough?
I don't know. I don't play vampires.
Edric is
the Eminence one?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, maybe just make a better one.
Okay. Make him one.
Yeah, but Eminence was such a cheap ass mechanic.
He's also limited. Isn't he only white black? Isn't there's no red, right?
Yeah, I think it's just.
You kind of need all the colors. You need the red in there. You need white, black, red. You need a really solid white, black, red vampire commander to come out, I think.
Well, at any rate, what I'm saying is you're safer off investing and engaging. Follow what Blake said. Like, take him exactly at his word.
Yeah,
engage with Magic exactly the way that you want to. And that means try out our Commander Raid format, guys. It's so much fun. Seriously,
I posted a link to it.
Yeah, it's so good. It's so good. I don't know why.
And we'll actually be having games of that on here pretty soon. So hope everybody's looking forward to that. We'll have some, probably not live gameplay. I think just for quality purpose, it would be best to have it as pre-recorded gameplay. But we'll be able to have some of that footage up here for you pretty soon. So you'll be able to see how it actually, pans out.
Obviously not today, but I was actually going to recommend that we end the stream with a Commander Raid game, but it's already 2.5 hours in, so I don't know if we want to do that. Plus, I just ordered food.
I'm actually down for it. But how are we going to do that? Like, I don't think we have the tech at the moment to do that.
What do you mean?
No, I don't think
on StreamYard. I don't think we have the tech for that.
I mean, we do. You know how we do it? I switch my camera from my virtual camera to
the overhead
show spell table.
I think it would probably be better
or we just do this.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah.
I mean, you can't see anything, but you just turn the camera down and then.
Yeah, I mean, it's up to the audience. How about we put up a poll and see if people want us to demonstrate, do a quick demonstration? And yes, I will play my group hug deck.
Yeah.
I'll play my Savala deck.
Fine, that's fine.
I don't think tonight works out for me anyways. It's already getting a bit
suck
late.
It up, Buttercup. Let's play.
Well, let's see what people are looking for. Let's
get some interaction with the chat here. See if they want to see Commander Raids demonstrated here. See a live impromptu playing of Commander Raids real quick. It won't take more than 30 minutes. My guess is with a group hug, probably like 20 minutes at most. Take longer. We're taking longer setting it up than we are getting into playing it.
Boom. Well, let me know. We've got a poll up live in the. Yep, there it is. Do y'all want to see a game of Commander Raids?
My arm here in front of my face. In my face.
Wow, so far it's looking like people do. They do. Well, let us know. Oh, wow. Yeah.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh. See what happens when you commit to something?
Yeah,
Holy
take
buckets
that,
of
Bob.
buckets.
Yeah. So far, we've got 5 votes for yeah. Woot woot.
I will still have to, if Miss Sherry Vegas is listening, I will just have to postpone it. I will still go for the walk. But that's like 100% rating of yes, people want to see us play.
Oh, yeah.
That means you don't get to look at my beautiful face anymore, though.
Yep. We'll have to switch
right.
down to straight.
True loss.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it, folks. You got your deck handy?
I can make this work reasonably easily.
All right, so nothing like professionalism.
So, everybody kind of just stay tuned. We're going to have to move things around a little bit, so you'll just have to listen to our pretty voices as we do so.
So I have to do a couple of quick things here.
Now, one of the interesting things about Commander Raids is that your regular Commander decks actually work pretty well in that. So you really don't have to do a whole lot.
Have you guys tried the counterspell variant, allowing counterspells to reroll the die?
No.
I've gotten a decent amount of play with that, and it actually works pretty well in hard mode.
I'm hearing a lot of echoing, by the way. I don't know who's got that going on.
I don't know.
That might have been me.
I don't hear it, so I'm not sure. I don't know what that means, anymore.
All right.
I don't even know what echoing means anymore, man.
What is an echo?
What is echo?
Safety meeting. All right. So you guys can see my play area here. Yeah.
Okay, I'm just going to go grab my deck, so I'm going to be away from the console here for a minute.
You're going to grab your deck off screen?
Yeah, right. I was wearing pants. What?
All right. So, oh boy. We're going to have to track life differently because I can't. My phone is my.
I need to flip my camera around, so I'm going to do this.
Actually, I'm just going to do like a D&D nerd. Oh, most of my D&D dice are upstairs. Damn it. Well, that sucks. All right, who's going to do what with keeping track of what?
I'll just use my phone, so that'll keep track of the rounds, and it'll keep track of
the health.
The health.
So you got that. All right, so let's talk through it a bit here. Oh boy,
that's another thing. I have an app that I've created I haven't touched it since, but it's fully functional in that it actually does the rolling of the raid monster and can keep track of his life points and keep track of round. So this will be out, one day.
When he says it'll be out, it'll be available for you to grab from Google Play Store.
Yep,
is that right?
And it'll be free. No, if you want to donate, there will be a donate button most likely to support development or whatever. I can maybe hire somebody that actually knows what the hell they're doing and have them improve the app in ways that people want. Or I've been doing everything myself, just learning how to make an app.
All right. So what are we doing with the? And we've got some things that we're still hammering out a little bit, folks. Some fine tuning, which will probably never stop.
Nope.
Right. That's just nature of this beast.
So as of right now, I win conditions don't win. Like Thassa's Oracle, we don't allow. Oh, well, it's not that you don't allow, but you can't counter the boss's spells. They are considered spells, but it has no hand, no graveyard, no cards. But it does cast spells from a list that we roll dice to see how that happens, and we keep rolling more and more dice as the game progresses, determined by the round. So eventually there's kind of like a clock that if you don't get him dead, you're going to be dead. We start with 40 life, and the boss gets... We're going to do the baseline rules, I assume?
Yeah.
Do the
Might as
medium
well.
difficulty.
So basically like the medium difficulty. Shoot, I don't have any of that up at the moment.
I might actually switch over to the... Do I have the scene already created for this? Maybe.
Bring up the rule set for myself just so I can reference the rule sheet. All right, I am ready to rock and roll. Let's see. Boy.
And if anybody wants to follow along, I'm going to go ahead and put a Google Doc link down in the chat right now. So you can go ahead, check out a little bit of the rules, and watch along with us.
All right, I have a playable hand, so I will keep.
Let's go with...
And rather than making it difficult, we'll just have it go in the play order of Pat first, then me, then Matt.
Awesome.
Otherwise, it's going to get complicated. You gotta keep it complicated. All right, folks. So just talking through what we're doing on the setup, I have a 2-lane deck that Matt so keenly pointed out rarely ever hits the actual table. I just needed 3 colors, and I wanted a commander that can do degenerate stuff if he hits the table. You might have been, Richie. You might have been the only no.
It seems as though that's probably true. We had, wow, 8-1. That's very impressive. Seems as though a lot of people were in for this. So thank you all for tuning in and staying with us.
So you get to see this is a PvE format. We are not playing against each other. We can't really represent a boss here. But that's what we're doing, is we're essentially playing against a boss monster. Rawr! And we're all trying to beat the boss monster before we lose. So that's basically it. They're commander legal decks for the most part. Like I said, there's just a few things that don't work, like the I win conditions or the you lose conditions or the...
Go take a mulligan right there.
Counter spells don't really work the way that you expect them to. We're working on alternative rules so that those cards don't become just utterly worthless. Like maybe you can have it re-roll rather than just it doesn't work. So you can't silence the raid monster. It's going to do its thing. It's so powerful. It's going to look right through your counter spells or can't do, and it's going to do it anyways.
Yeah, I'll play it.
All right, well, then you are up. I have my starting hand. I have a playable hand. And
so go ahead, draw for turn. I'm going to play my island. I'm going to tap that island for Trickery Charm, looking at the top 4 cards of my library, putting them back in any order. Now I'll go ahead and pass my turn over.
All right. I will play a Flooded Strand for turn. I'll pay 1 life, sack it, and I'm going to go get a Triome. So that's going to be my turn, and I will pass it on to Matt. Somebody want to explain how you keep adding dice to this?
Yeah, so we do get 1 free pass our first turn. Pat, that document is some good... Oh, hey, thanks. You know, that's actually all credit over to PureMTG's Matt. That guy's quite the writer. Smart fella. So how the dice rolling goes, we get 1 free round going around first where we don't add a dice roll to the boss monster. On the second round going around is the first roll of the boss monster. Now, it gets pretty crazy from there on out. The third round, they're still rolling 1 die, but then every even round going forward, you add another one on. So on the 4th round going around the table, 2 die are going onto that table. So it gets kind of crazy as we're going forward. Now, that's one of the things, actually, that helps drive the timer on the game itself. As you continue along, you can't stop that addition of dice rolls or rolls on the app. And as you can see, dealing damage to every player, wiping out your artifacts, your enchantments, your creatures, it's going to get pretty tough to get past round 10, 12. If you get to that point, you're pretty much donezo.
Yep. Played a forest, then a pass.
Wonderful.
All right, so it's
Go ahead.
bosses. Technically, it's the boss's first turn, but as Pat said, it will not roll dice on turn number 1.
Yep. It only adds dice and rolls dice on, well, round
Starting
2.
with turn
It
2.
starts around 2.
And sad to say, but I'm going to be playing Mystic Monastery coming in tapped, and I can't do anything more than that this turn, so I'm going to have to pass it over to Bob.
All right, well, I'm going to untap. I forgot to draw on my first turn, so I did make up for it. So I will draw a bop. I'll play a plains tap for green, play my bop, pass the turn over to Matt. And I don't know why I'm shuffling my hand. Nervousness. You guys got me nervous.
Forest, and I'll
Here's my
play a
hand.
ranger class. I'll get a 2/2 wolf. This is a cat, but close enough. And then I'm done. So this will be round 2
Round 2.
of the boss monster. So we hit a roll, exile graveyard, and lose dice equal to the or lose life equal to number rolled. So we'll lose 1 life. It'll gain 2.
So let's explain DR while we're here. So DR, whenever you see that in the rule sheet, that is the number of dice rolled. Since this is round number 2, it goes by the number of rounds divided by 2 rounded down. So on turn 1, divided by 2 would be 0.5 rounded down, means you rolled 0 dice. This is round number 2, it rolled 1 dice because you take round 2 divided by 2, which would be 1 rounded down, which would still be 1. So we rolled 1 dice. So X equals 1 times the number of life. So we each lose 1 life. I'm at 38 life now because I had the fetch land on turn 1.
Welcome
So
to our
hopefully
math lesson. So yeah, actually,
Right.
we didn't even explain that. So we're using the app, but you can actually just use a D20 if you want to just roll a D20 and then you consult the chart in the playtest document.
So I'm up. I'm going to untap.
Have you noticed it says die result? I added that in because there's only 11 results. So sometimes you could hit the button and it would like, you could definitely see you hit the button, but the result didn't change. So you're like, well, did I get the same result or did it not register? So adding the die result and right now you can see like when you hold down on the button, it goes gray. So that'll actually like indicate like you definitely hit the button.
So I'll tap 2 for Arcane Signet, and then I might as well go ahead, get crazy with it. Tap my Arcane Signet for an Elixir of Immortality. At that point, I've run out of gas for this turn, so I'm going to pass it over to Bob again.
I kept a
right.
somewhat sketchy hand with only green lands. I'm hoping I can get a white source here shortly.
So
Yeah,
I
I
will
had,
draw. I will
2.
play a card for turn, and I am going to go ahead and tap all 3 plus this for a green, and I am going to play New Frontiers. Each player, for those that don't know what that means, each player may search his or her library for up to X basic land cards, in this case X equals 3, and put them into play tapped, and then each player shuffles his or her graveyard.
Ooh,
That's helpful.
moly.
Or shuffles his or her library, sorry, not graveyard.
So let's go ahead, grab 3 basics out, put them right onto that there battlefield tapped.
I'll put 3 planes out there. This is my enchantment deck, but at $100 budget. So significantly less powerful than the last time I played it on the channel. It doesn't have the Walking Ballista combo in it. It doesn't have
So I grab 2 forests and an island, and I will pass the turn.
I went for plains, mountain, and island. You know, just go ahead and get crazy with it, right?
Well, I just went triple planes.
The plains.
I can start beating the monster in the face. I think I'm just gonna go the super aggro strat to try to just just really
That's terrible.
get it in there. So I'll tap 1 for a cleric class. Tap 2 for a Sterling Grove. And I'll tap 3 for an Ancestral Mask. So Ancestral Mask is enchant creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 for each enchantment on the battlefield. So it's going to get
I have
+2,
none.
4, 6, 8. So it's going to be a
Do
10.
Do you have any enchantments, Pat?
None currently, but you hold on. You might see that soon enough.
All right, so I'll hit it for 10.
Oh, hot dang.
Yeah, 10 on turn 3 ain't bad.
No, not too bad at all.
Then I'll pass the turn after that.
All right,
So this
so
will
it's
be round 3. So this will still be 1 die, or 1 result. It's the same result because it's a zigzag. Well, I don't know. I click like again. I don't know of any other way to like force it to like. I wonder if there's a way that I can make it so it can never be the same. No, but that doesn't make. That's not true random.
no, it needs to be able to be that way, but
Because I clicked it, it went gray.
you should just have a roll tracker.
Here, I'll just
somewhere
do
in
that.
there?
Here, sacrifice artifacts. So this will be each player sacrifices 1 artifact. I don't have any artifacts.
I have none.
Oh, there goes my elixir of immortality. No.
That one's
And
not
then,
so bad. So now it's your turn.
Oh, cool. It's not even like any lose life on it. Well, let's go ahead, draw for turn, see if I get something good. Ooh, not too shabby. Not too shabby. I could use that. Well, let's go ahead, do that thing I do love to do. It's playing Kaikar, Wind's Fury. That's my jam. So let's go ahead and do exactly that. Red, white, blue, plus 1 more for Kaikar, Wind's Fury. I'm also going to tap an Arcane Signet and Mystic Monastery. So I can go ahead and play a Sarah's Blessing. Attacking does not cause creatures I control to tap, which will also make me a Spirit, a token. And then I'll pass over my turn.
Is that an enchantment?
That is an enchantment.
Fancy.
All right, so it's my turn. I will untap everything. Draw. Oh boy. So I'll tap 1 green to play a Concordant Crossroads. That's also an enchantment. I will pay 5 more to put Tulane into play. And I will pass the turn.
Bob's
Oh, no,
balling
I
out
will
right
swing
now.
with Tulane
So you can attack.
for 2. And that's all I can do.
All right.
Cuckoo, cuckoo. And thank you, everybody, for hanging out and watching some of this. I'm glad that this Commander Raids format has kind of enticed you in. If you want to learn more about it, just check out the Google Doc, and maybe you'll see more of this coming out here on the channel.
I'll play Jukai Naturalist. He has a 1/1 lifelinker or 2/2 lifelinker and lets my enchantments cost 1 less to cast. I'll play a Ground Seal. When it enters the battlefield, I draw a card, and then cards in graveyards can't be the target of spells or abilities. Play my land for the turn. I guess we'll just go all out. Well, no, we don't have to. So this is what? That's 16. So we'll hit it for 18. Actually, Concordant Crossroads gives everything haste, right?
Correct.
So I'll hit it for 20.
With 2 lifelink.
Actually, if that's the case, hold on. I can play my commander. Actually, yeah, we got. If with haste, that's pretty massive. That changes everything. We're gonna tap. We're gonna play.
Concordant Crossroads is a good card.
Yeah, we're gonna play Selvala. And then we're going to tap her. So each player reveals the top card of their library, and I get a green mana for every non-land revealed this way, and I gain a life for the same.
If you want to show all of us, I revealed a Orzhov Advocist.
A Prismatic Lens for me.
Look at that. 3 green mana. We all draw that card. I got a Lignify. So with 3 green mana, I'll use 1 green mana. I'm going to enchant her with Instill Energy. Enchanted creature is unaffected by summoning sickness. I can pay 0, untap enchanted creature, use this ability only during your turn, and only once each turn. So I will use that free ability. And then I'll retap her. Everybody reveal. Planes.
I have a Rites of
Rites of
Flourishing.
Flourishing. Excellent. And Pat?
Is going to be Aqueous Form.
Okay, so that's another 2 green. And I gain another 2 life. That's gaining 5 life. Pretty good. Up to 44. Actually, 45 because of Cleric class. Actually, that means that it's extra 2 more, so 46. Because every time I would gain a life, I gain that much life plus 1. So I have 4 green mana available. I'm going to use 2 of that to level up Ranger class. Whenever I attack, I get to put a 1/1 counter on target attacking creature. All right, so then we'll go to combat now. So it'll be 22. And then we'll put a counter on Jukai. So 23 total.
That's a pretty big hit on the commander.
Then I'll gain another 4.
So wing.
So I'm up to 50.
Bada, bada. So we are on turn number 4 for the boss, and now it's going to roll twice.
Oh, this is where it starts getting grimy, guys.
Yeah, this is where it can turn south really quick, because I only have 3 creatures, so it could feasibly wipe my entire board, everybody. So first one, Exile Graveyard. It really likes that result.
Okay, so we exile the graveyard, and
random.
I lose 2 life now. Everybody loses. Each of us lose 2 life, and the boss gains 6. So I'm at 36 now.
Down to 48. He gains 6. And then the second result. Yep, there's the bad one. So this, well, I guess each player has to sacrifice 2 enchantments. That's not the worst.
Well, I'm glad I did that now, because and then what? Exile the graveyard? No, not even. Cool.
Nope. That one's hard mode. I think you exile.
Well,
So I'll
I
give
got
it a
some
ground
enchantments I'm looking to play
seal.
this turn, so I'm glad that didn't get me.
We'll do Ground Seal and Cleric class. So this shrinks by a lot. So everybody lost there. So I only have my enchantments. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Not the worst.
All right, Pat, do something.
Okay, let's go ahead and see what I can do here. Let's untap
I
for
kept
turn.
Sterling Grove because I can
draw. Okay.
So I'm kind of curious what the audience thinks so far of this. I mean, if we still have people actively watching, or if we're just noise in the background. Kind of curious what your thoughts are so far.
So let's go ahead. Let's start.
Right now we're playing on the baseline. This is kind of like what a normal deck would play against. This is a $100 league deck, so it's focused around Zavala. It's enchantment based.
Okay.
Mine's very expensive. I don't even want to.
So
yeah, he's playing a more
going
group hug deck, which definitely accelerates and makes the game a bit easier, but still not completely trivial.
I'll go ahead, sack off this spirit for
Whoa,
1 red.
let's not talk about sacking off online.
Yeah, I'll sack off that spirit for 1 red. Tap these 3, including an island, to play Sakashima of 1,000 Faces, copying Kaikar. So, I'll at that point go ahead, throw out a, let's see, for 1 blue, I'll go with an Aqueous Form on Kaikar, which will actually create 2 flying tokens. Let's go ahead. Follow that up with 2 more. We'll do colorless. Doesn't matter. Let's, tap them for what it is. For Prismatic Lens. Bumping that bad boy up to 4 flying tokens. Boom, boom, boom. Nice. So,
Too bad
Let's-
Concordant Crossroads is gone.
Yeah, not having haste sucks, but
Yeah, here we go. So I'll sack off 2 of those, floating 2 red, tap the Arcane Signet for a white, and Prismatic Lens for a colorless for Glory of Warfare. Creates 2 more 1/1 tokens. As long as it's my turn, creatures I control get 2/0. As long as it's not my turn, they get 0/2.
okay.
So let's go ahead, do some swinging out then, huh? So 5, 10. Let's see.
Your creatures don't have haste anymore unless you have something that gives them haste.
Oh, Concordant Crossroads is out, huh?
Yeah.
Yep, gone.
Bugger.
So I think you
well,
could just swing
it's
with
just going to be
Kaikar.
Kaikar then. So that's going to be 5 out. And when it
There is a
attacks-
result for the raid monster to be able to add defenders, so it's not just like a big punching bag.
Yeah.
But it just hasn't rolled that yet.
All right,
And
Richie.
aqueous
Thanks for checking
form.
it out, bud.
Lets me go ahead, scry 1. I'll leave it on top, and I'll pass my turn over.
All right. So I'm going to untap.
Yeah, have a good one night. Sweet. Take care, guys.
Draw for turn. All right. So I'm going to tap green. I'll tap, I guess, 1 of each. To play a Scute Swarm, which is going to trigger
Snap.
Tulane Teller of Tales. Whenever I cast a creature spell, I get to draw a card, and I may put a land card from my hand into play. Oh, boy. And I do have a land card in my hand, which is a Reliquary Tower. Boy. I think
Playing that rights, right?
protection up for what's that?
You're playing the rights of flourishing, right?
I may not. I'm thinking about playing the Academy Rector instead.
Barely knew her.
But I already have the Omniscience in my hand, and I have the Rights of Flourishing in my hand, which are 2 of the prime targets for that. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and play the Rights of Flourishing. So, yes. To answer your question, Matt, I will do that. And I will swing with Tulane for 2 more, and I will pass the turn.
My floating, or my last screen that I have, I'm going to sacrifice Sterling Grove, so this will go down 1. Well, actually, it'll go up 1 because of your rights. So it says, sacrifice Sterling Grove, search your library for an enchantment card, reveal it, put it on top of your library. And then I'll take 2 off the raid monster.
And this is during your upkeep?
No, this is during your turn, the end of your turn.
Okay.
I'm going to put an ethereal armor on top of my library.
Ooh, nice.
I don't know if I can do 40 damage in 1 turn, but I'm going to try.
Oh, shoot. There's a insect token out there. Sorry. Totally forgot about that.
And Matt, if it matters, I do have 2 enchantments.
Yeah, so far it looks like there's 7 out there total on the field.
So that is a copy of the Scute Swarm.
2, 3, 4, and then if you have 2, Bob has 1. All right.
So if it doesn't board wipe, I think I can kill him next turn.
So draw for turn, draw from Rights of Flourishing. That's pretty good. We'll reveal for Selvala. Mine's a Statessan Champion.
Boros Charm.
That's 2 green. And then Bob reveal at the top.
Tommy the
3
Crescent
green.
Moon.
I love this card. This card's so good. Yeah, it makes your opponents draw cards, but like tapping a creature, gaining typically it's 3 or 4 green. So I drew a Statessan Champion. I'll use Instill Energy to untap it. I'll tap her again, so we'll reveal again. I got a Plains. Everybody, reveal top.
Boom diggy, we got a land.
Got a
Is it
land?
more than
Okay,
one?
so 0 mana from that one. So that can happen. All right, so 3 green.
Do we draw these or not?
Yes. Oh yeah, and then I gain life for each card that I drew that isn't a land, so it would have been just the 3.
Man, Is It Boiler looks really cool from Double Masters 22 in the borderless.
All right, so I'm
It's a
going to use
cool
one of those
card.
greens to play a Mana Bloom. So that goes up 1. Actually, it's a Mana Bloom for 1 because of Jukai.
That guy, Mr. Jukai.
Yeah, Jukai makes them cost 1 less, so it gives it 1 free mana. Well, I should probably play this in the right order. Hold on. I'll use these 3. I'm going to play a Statessan champion. He has Constellation. Whenever an enchantment enters the battlefield, put a 1/1 counter on it and draw a card. So then I can play a Mana Bloom for 1. Then this will get a counter, and then Statessan champion will get a counter. And then I'll draw a card. I play an Ethereal Armor on the cat. Well, the cat wolf.
Did you draw
get a
card
counter?
in your turn?
Yes, and I'll draw a card. So how much is this? So this is 9, so it's 18, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 29. So I can do 29 right now.
Well, if we make it through both of these rolls on the boss monster's turn here, we should be able to win this reasonably easily here. So
Play an
no
Eternal
worries.
Witness.
Oh, yeah, I mean, I have Crater Hoof in my hand. If he doesn't wipe the
Yeah,
board,
I mean, don't worry too much, Matt, about trying to take this all on your shoulders right here this turn.
I'm just playing the best I can. That's all. So I'll E-Witness. I'll get back a Sterling Grove, and then I'll play a Sterling Grove. Get a counter. Draw a card. This goes up 1. I think that's all I can do. Well, that's not true. I'll tap this. I'll remove this for a green. I'm gonna lignify my Eternal Witness. So I'll draw a card, and this gets a counter. Okay, now I think that's. Oh, we have 2 extra land drops, right? Or an extra land drop, I mean.
1 extra land.
All right. So I'll play a Plains, and I'll play an All Seeds Bounty. So get that. Draw a card. So that should be, I'm going to recount this, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So I have 10 enchantments.
I have 1.
2.
Okay, so this is actually 13. Okay. So this is 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So this will be 38, 41.
Hey,
It's exact.
Yeah,
Wow.
Good.
good work.
So the boss never got to roll for turn 5.
Good
Good
stuff.
job.
I mean-
and that is Commander Raids, folks. It is cooperative, that we're all on the same team. It's a lot less feels bads, even when we lose. At least for me.
Right? Because we're all in it to either win it or lose it together. It's not that 1 out of 4 people wins. It's that we all win or lose together. So
And
it
our decks are
definitely brings,
surprisingly synergistic as well. Like none of these decks are designed to be synergistic with each other, but you could do that.
oh, right. Oh, that would be fun to like form up a squad.
You'd have to
You
go
know,
on
to
hard mode for
actually
sure.
make a cleric deck to
Yeah,
actually
Ancestral
make
Mask.
a
This
warrior
card's
deck.
bonkers to me. Like this card's such a good card. 2/2 for every enchantment on the battlefield. Like that's just.
Damn.
Yeah.
Oh, and
That's a
actually
good-
just realized
good card.
something. It's technically 2 higher. It's actually technically 4 higher. It says each other. It doesn't count itself. Yeah. Well,
I've already swapped up. My
So we'll
It
see
was-
what it would have rolled. It probably wouldn't have mattered. Sacrifice all tokens. I have no tokens.
I would have sacked 1.
And
I
then it would
have
have the good
4.
effect. Die result 20.
Oh, and then we
so
would
yeah,
have drawn
it
a card
would have
and placed
mattered.
the card. Okay.
I think
cool.
Pat would have killed it.
Yeah,
But
for
yeah.
sure.
So reading the card explains the card, unfortunately. But
No
yeah, I think
worries.
I don't know.
Nutshell, folks. You get an idea for what it is. There are different levels that you can play. That was the moderate level. The middle level meant for the average Magic player. You
Yeah.
can play with any number of players, even just a single player, meaning you could play test decks that you have ideas for and see how it goes against at least a semi-reasonable opponent, rather than just sitting and flipping over cards. And what do they call that? Goldfishing?
Yeah, goldfishing or playtesting.
And what's interesting to me really is that some cards are better in this format because of this format specifically, the way they function, like us being able to get out basic lands and put them on the battlefield. That card was balanced against how good it is for you by other people getting benefits.
Same
So
thing with
here, it's just
Important
benefits
Crossroads.
on benefits.
Yeah, a lot of the cards that Bob plays in his group hug deck, it's normally in a normal game, you're like, that kind of breaks the game. I mean,
Right.
it kind of breaks this format too a little bit. I mean, we're not like playtesting it around group hug decks. If you want to make a group hug deck, go for it. But it allows for a lot of different strategies to just kind of
Yeah.
run wild. And it's also
Like
just
in,
like Bob
in
said,
the
there's no
deck I
feels
just
bad.
played,
You just kind of play with
Kaikar.
your friends.
I think a fun add to this deck would be Helm of Awakening, which is just now getting reprinted again
That's
in
my deck.
Dominaria Remastered. So everybody is going to have one less. Spells cost one colorless less. Boom. Helps me, helps everybody else, triggers Kaikar. Things are going great. Just a wonderful add. And I love this format. So
So
I'm not,
one thing I
Go
did
ahead.
want to point out, though, is we are not opponents, right? So cards that specifically reference opponents, there is only one opponent. It's the boss monster. So opponent cards don't work.
A lot of times they reference lands the opponent has, which doesn't work. They have no lands.
Right. Felwar Stone, totally useless.
Exotic Orchard does nothing.
Yeah. So be careful
in,
about
in
anything
certain
that has
playtest
opponent.
tables, you can just say that they tap for colorless if you want to like just be easy about it. But
Hmm.
for the
And then you have
technically
the
they do
flip
nothing.
side, things like Rhystic Study. Since the boss monster is technically casting spells as far as we've designed it, you are getting triggers on that because they cannot pay for it.
Yep.
But
So-
conversely, Smothering Tithe does nothing.
Yep.
Well,
Exactly.
yeah, because they don't draw cards. Yeah.
So,
If they do get treasures, I would say that they just can sack them. If like you play like a dockside, they can just get rid of them, kind of like an opponent can do. But like clues, they can't crack clues. So if you're able to give the raid monster a clue, your dockside actually can do something. Stuff like
but I mean,
that.
those are niche corner cases, and it does get around a lot of cards that are somewhat controversial. Like I said, like the Smothering Tithe and Dockside Extortionist, and like Ragavan is the terrible card in this format.
Yep. If you look in the playtest document at the bottom, it kind of goes through some of the corner case scenarios where we give like recommendations of what we would do or what we're trying to do in our different games. We're obviously trying different things every time. So,
and
give
we're
those a
obviously
shot.
open to any input, insight you guys have. Constructive criticism is welcomed, but we encourage you guys to take the rule set that Matt provided in the chat, and try it out yourselves. If you want to play it online, as somebody said in the comments, I didn't comment on that because we're in the middle of play. Alchemist said that Alchemist said he wanted to play on a stream. So I want to play. I'd love to play on video with people, but yeah, this is not copyrighted stuff. Please, we want to encourage people to play this as much as possible. Spread the word. Try it yourselves. It is so much fun, guys. This is my preferred way to play Magic anymore. I enjoy co-op. I know it's not going to be everybody's preferred way, but it is mine. And I encourage you to at least give it a try. This is something new in 2023. It is positive in the community.
Yep.
It is familiar with Commander. It works with most of the decks that most of the people have out there. You might want to tweak a little bit for this format, and you can use it in lots of different ways. And we're going to come up with even more exciting ways to play this, with potentially like a
As we
tower
go
mode,
forward,
meaning
yeah.
as soon as you beat that boss, we would go on to the next boss up a tower, and
Right.
potentially even add in like some sort of benefit for beating a boss, moving on to the next stage. So
A roguelike where
Could be
you like
scenarios.
get boons
or
at
like
the end of
sort of
each
cage
raid
match against boss, and you just go as long as you can until you lose. But at any rate, there's lots of ways that you can go with this, and we encourage you to give it a run and give us your feedback. And if you have ideas on how to improve, by all means, do it yourself. And if you think it would be beneficial for the community, then feedback to us. We have a Discord. I don't know if somebody wants to link that.
I can slowly do that in the next 90 seconds or so.
I got it.
Yeah, so we have a Discord, and if you want to join us and look for games, you'll see that Pat and I are very active with, trying to look for games to play. I prefer to play with, more players. Not that I have anything against playing with Pat, but we have a pretty good grip on what the 2-player version against the boss is like. So I always encourage having like 3 to 4 at least.
Thanks,
I think would be the most fun. So at any rate, that's
and you can play with more people if you've got a big group of friends. You can actually. We've only I've play tested up to 5 players, but the boss scales with players, so in theory it could go to infinite.
Yeah, I'm assuming if you have enough players, though, it probably would imbalance it to the point where you're just swamping the boss, like I guess you would in a real fantasy environment when you have an entire army taking down a boss as opposed to just 4 characters. So,
yep.
It's supposed to be D&D-esque or dungeon delving-esque aspect to the game, and that's
why I use the word raid, because it's like you get a group of your friends together and raid a monster, kind of WoW-ish almost.
So
right,
I mean,
exactly. Yeah.
You could have roles where I was like the beatdown and Rob was the support and Pat was the support / beatdown. Like he had like a hybrid going on with like helping me with enchantments and juicing up my creatures and then punching it in the face.
So I mean, I view this as our gift to the Magic community. In reality, this is our gift to you guys for free. We put a lot of work and went to Vegas to get some ideas for it and communicated with a number of people to put it together. It's still, like I said, in a little bit of a state of flux and probably always will be, but I think it's solid enough. I feel confident in presenting to all of you to give it a try.
Yeah, I think it's got a good baseline.
Well, until next week, thank you everybody for joining us and staying for this long. Take care, be well, and see you next time.
Later,
Bye.
guys.
Later.